Oh, I don't do
You
either of
go
those
like
things.
this, they do this.
There is nothing that changes your...
There we go. We forgot to look at the timer. I was like, hold up, we got to get back over here.
I
We're
know.
about to
We
go live.
FaceTime each other. We FaceTime and continue to talk because we can't hear each other during the countdown. So we FaceTime. We were talking about weather and flash flooding and hurricanes and
Really
California
exciting stuff.
turning into Texas.
Yeah, we have actual rain. So we have in the Discord, we have Angie, we got Beth Ann, Scruggy Mama's in there. And yeah, I think Angie said she might have some power outages due to rain. It's just, it's been strange. It's been great. I don't want people to have power outages. Like that part is bad, or like, flooding. But overall, it's been nice to have actual weather out here.
See, but like, so you're fine with it? You're not like sad or gloomy or anything?
I love it. It's like an adventure. It's like, oh, we're getting rain. It's cold. Oh, it's nice. It's cozy. This is wintertime here.
Yeah. See, that's like, I love the cozy rain. I don't like it whenever the rain causes issues.
Yeah, no, like I don't want nonsense. But
yeah,
I like some good rainfall. It's not raining anymore. Oh no, wait, it is. Yeah, it's so light I can barely see it. I'm like, is it raining? Yeah, it's kind of raining out there.
Yeah, it rained twice today in Houston. That's normal. We probably get rain. We get rain often. It's not the most inconvenient thing to me for the rain is that I have to wipe my dog's paws off now when he comes in.
You don't give him some little rain boots, some little doggy rain boots for him to stomp around.
He just kick those off. No, I just have a towel. We just have like these beach towels. Like we have dog like towels that are designated for him that are by the back door, and I lay it out and I say feet, and he walks onto the towel and he waits, and he lifts up my paw and I wipe off his thing and I say feet, and he lifts up his other one.
I like the phrase as a question. Feet.
Feet.
Oh man.
Oh goodness.
Okay, so remember I said I've come across these videos, Allison, as we're prepping to get started here, and I find these videos. I'm like, I feel like I need to show Allison this. So I have it queued up here. We did the Waffle House video last episode, our last live stream. Here's the latest one I found. Let me see if I can find the right.
Does that mean I can start sending you videos?
You can't. You're not trusted yet. You haven't proven yourself.
I have a good one.
Do you? Okay. You know what? I won't just automatically ban you. I want to give you a shot to prove yourself. Once you prove that you can't be trusted, like with the awkward one, then you'll get banned. But for now, you're open. But not right now, because I gotta save it and clip it out. It's like a whole thing. It's a whole adventure.
Okay.
All right, but here, let me show you this one. This one's for you right now. All right. Can you hear this?
There is nothing that changes your previously held beliefs about yourself and the
I've heard
world
this
around
already.
you than having children. Marie Kondo had 3 kids and went from trying to spark joy every day to just trying to survive each day.
Well, that just ruined it. But I saw that because she was huge. I remember her Netflix show. Like it was all like the joy. Was it the joy of tidying
up? Oh, I did it.
I went through away all kinds of stuff.
Oh, I did it. But I'm a purger. Like,
are you?
Here's my thing. I am, and so is Matt. Matt is ruthless.
I mean, that's a dad's job, right? A dad's job is to go through and just throw away stuff when people aren't looking.
See, my dad though is like a pack rat. So is my mom. I mean, not like to where it's uncomfortable or anything.
Oh, my dad is too, but he still throws away other people's stuff. Like he'll throw away his stuff. He throws away everybody else's stuff.
But let me tell you that, like, I cannot handle a cluttered house because of my ADHD. So, okay, backtrack a couple months ago. I had.
Oh wait, are you recording this? I just hit record. I wasn't
no,
recording.
I did not. Okay,
and I'm in Discord.
Okay, let's clap real quick. Even though this isn't part of the show.
It's extra bonus, early stuff.
This is your bonus. We're rewarding the people that show up on time. Okay.
Yeah, you ready?
Okay, we're gonna clap on 3. 3, 2, 1.
When you were to clap on 3, you start with 3.
Okay, fine, go.
All right, 3, 2, 1, clap. Got it.
Okay. A couple months ago, I had some friends over, and I feel like I've told this story, but maybe I didn't. And like my kids were out of town, my husband was out of town. I said, I'm gonna hold a neighborhood girls' night. So I invited maybe 15 or 20 people over, like women I know, just like bring a bottle of wine, bring something.
Wait, how many people did you say?
Like 15 or 20 people.
How do you just know 15 or 20 people you could just invite over to your house? Like they're close enough proximity that you can invite them and they might possibly actually show up? I
have this disease. It's called extrovert.
I don't even think I could just come up with 10 people who I'd be confident would show up if I said, hey, come here on this day at this time.
We had probably like 12 women show up, but it's that awkward. I had this awkward moment where I was like waiting, and like the first 15 minutes, no one was there. And I texted my friend. I was like, come, no one's here. And I feel like a loser. But then people were like all fashionably late. But anyway, all of that to say, I had all these women over and they were like, Allison, your house is so empty. And I was like, what do you mean? They're like, there's just not stuff everywhere. Like your counters are clear, and like you don't have like toys everywhere, and you don't have like stuff like covering everything. And I was like, oh no, we don't do that here. Like our mantle has 2 things on it. That's what, 3 things, a mirror, and then a plant and a plant. Like we have a TV console, our TV hangs on the wall. We have 1 plant. Like it's a very like
I like that
clutter-free environment in our home. It's peaceful
to me.
It is. It's very peaceful, and it helps me like be able to process and think things. And so I even had a friend that left. She went home at 11:30 that night, and she texted me at 12:30 and was like, I've started decluttering tonight. Like she went home that night and she was like, I have toys in these toy boxes in the living room that have been here for years, and all of her kids are older than mine. I was like, get rid of it, Rachel. You don't need it anymore.
See, you're filling the hole left by Marie Kondo. She said, you know what, I'm done with this tidying stuff. Now you can come in and you can be the inspired declutterer. Boom, you're welcome.
I mean, I wouldn't say that. I
just
just want to
not.
Life. I don't want to declutter because I don't want to I don't want to bring in stuff. Like literally, my entryway table has like it's all plants. Like I have a plant, I have a fake plant, I have a picture of my kids, and I have a record player. That's it. We don't keep
a record player.
else
what
on.
a hipster over there. You got your
yeah,
jazz albums playing and people walk in the door. Welcome.
Well,
everyone.
we do have records. It was a gift I gave Matt for our 1-year wedding anniversary, but it's broken. But he says it's not broken. I think it is broken. So there's this big debate.
Can't you just like try to turn it on?
Well, we don't know if it's the records that are messed up or the record player.
all the records are messed up.
He thinks all the records are messed up. I do not. Thank you. You're on my side. Chris.
Every single record is broken.
Yes. So anyway, and we don't have a lot of records either. But I would love to get a newer record player, like something that's just more low profile. This is like it's like a little taller, and I'm looking at it right now. And I would like to get more records, but no, I mean, we don't have stuff out places.
I like that. My desk would stress you out right now. There's a bunch of stuff. I have this mount here I need to put on the bottom of my desk. It's just, just sitting here.
I have to have a clear desk.
I could pull any number of things off my desk right now and show you that would stress you out.
Yeah. But Matt grew up in a house that was very cluttered. And so he went to like the extreme opposite. So he's really like, he wants things clean. He's a cleaner person than I am. Like he wants things clean. And I'm just like, I mean, you can pick it up, but do you really need to clean it that much? No, he wants it clean.
I respect that.
Yeah,
I'm with you on that one.
I get the benefits of it because then if he wants it clean, he cleans it. So.
Oh wait, before we get in there to the actual start of the episode, you have to join Discord, join your audio in there.
Oh, I'm not in Discord. Oh no.
I think everyone's on YouTube right now anyway, so you're fine.
Okay, great. Okay, I'm in. No, there's only one person watching on YouTube. Sorry, guys. Come back.
How rude. Get a one-sided conversation over here.
Sorry. Okay, you ready?
All right, kick us off, Allison.
Okay. I'm on the wrong one.
I believe in you.
Last week, our family went to Dollywood, and it was really wonderful and super fun. And while we were walking through Dollywood, we were walking as a family, and there were these carnival games, where you like throw a ball and knock over a jar, or you shoot water and knock over a jar or something. And as we're walking by, my 8-year-old son looks straight at the games and yells, "That's a scam! A scam!" And the teenage girl working the booth looks straight at us with her little microphone in, and she goes, "But it's not." Hey, this is Allison.
And this is Chris, and welcome to This Is Awkward, where I push the wrong button in the middle of the live stream because I'm out of practice.
Okay.
Allison, you know what? I think you're raising your kids right. They know. They know. Like, I'm not gonna waste my money over there. That's not in my favor. They're just trying to rip me off and take my money. So he already knows, and he called her out to her face.
I know, but I feel like this is actually not a scam. It's not a scam when you go to like a church carnival, you know.
Well, yeah,
when you go somewhere like
probably
this.
not.
Yeah, but when you go to like the fair, or you go to like a county carnival, like we have county fairs and county carnivals, I get it. But he just this sweet boy. I mean, just looks and points and yells, "It's a scam!" And it was like she had no one sitting there. She was watching us, and she had a microphone, so she could like talk to the people as they walk by, saying, "Come play." She was just sitting there, and she was like, "It's not a scam." Like,
so was this a fair, or was this like a smaller?
This was
event?
in Dollywood.
Oh, it probably was a scam. He was probably right.
It wasn't.
He was probably
I don't
right.
think it was, but it was so funny because it was like very rude and just really caught everyone off guard, including this poor little teenage girl just trying to earn some money on her spring break.
Exactly. She was like, they're not paying me enough to debate these kids on whether or not this is rigged, which I know it is, but I'm not going to say it. Because, I mean, here's how you know. Go up there and try to touch one of those stuffed animals if, like, dust comes off and, like, all this dirt because they've been there for 20 years.
No,
no one's winning those things.
Dollywood looks nice. Dollywood's better than that. But let me tell you, it's just funny because it's the things that we would think or would go through our mind, but as adults, we know that it's rude to say.
Yes.
And he just, he screamed it, pointed, and yelled. And I was just like, and as a good parent does, we laughed. And then was like, don't say that out loud.
You guide them away.
Like, we don't know whose kid this is.
We'll take him to security right away. Well, you know what? I think sometimes you got to call out fraud. And sometimes you got to discuss the awkward things going on in your life. And that's what we do here on This Is Awkward. We discuss your awkward money situations and hopefully help you get through them without losing your friends and family along the way.
And if you want to share your awkward money story, we want to hear it. You can call in to 707-200-8259, just like today's caller did. Or you can leave us a voice memo at awkwardpodcast.com or leave us a message there too, because we want to talk about your awkward stories, whether they're happening now or they've happened in the past. Let's discuss them.
Yeah, I always love getting those messages too, because it just makes the show so much more interesting when we get to hear your voices. And so you get to edit it up, make a little graphic for it. So we're really excited to dive into that one. But you know what else I really love, Allison?
Oh, other than awkward situations?
Yeah, other than the awkward situations that we always find ourselves in.
Sugar.
Okay, I do love sugar. But also, it is our Patreon. Okay, quick tangent. I was watching this video. You know who T-Pain is, right? Have you heard of him? Okay,
oh, yeah.
So he's like this big like streamer on Twitch, and he was. I don't know who this guy is. He was talking to. I didn't recognize him, and he was like, you know what? I was on this diet and I gave up sugar for 4 months. And he said, you know what? It was harder to quit cocaine than sugar.
Oh my gosh. I believe it.
Sugar is a crazy drug. It is. I cannot give it up, but I also can't give up our patrons, Allison. And we got
nice segue.
No, thank you. And I appreciate everyone who's here. We got Beth Ann, we got Lab Rabbit, Shirley, we got Scraggy Mama. I saw Logan was in there. Angie was around. So we appreciate you all coming in, supporting us, and letting us keep making these episodes for you.
Yes, and if you want to join in on the fun, get the bonus episodes, get access to Discord where you can chat with us, join us live, and then go to patreon.com/thisisawkwardpodcast or click the link in the show notes. Be like all those amazing people that just fill their weeks with a little bit of extra fun, because that we're not meant to just like live and work and die. We're meant to have fun along the way. Did this go dark?
Yeah. I mean, I agree with what you're saying. I just was not expecting that. Yeah.
This might have gone dark, but regardless, for more brightness in your life, join us on Patreon.
Yeah. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to hop into our awkward story today. All right. You know what?
Sorry about that.
It's the truth, Allison. It is the truth. I just didn't want to derail us, but I was like, it is the truth. You got to have some joy in your life. You can't just be working and paying bills, because we got to do that anyway. So might as well try to find a little bit of fun in there somewhere.
Are you ready? I think I'm going to bring us back.
All right. Logan said that was Juicy J from 3 6 Mafia.
Oh, he knew. He knew who he was talking
Of course he knew. So I remember 3 6 Mafia from when I was in. What happened?
Did you see that Keenan and Kel are coming back?
Okay, one. Where did you just see that at?
I just thought of it. Because I thought of it. I saw it on TikTok that they're coming back with Good Burger 2.
I did see that.
And I thought, I need to talk to Chris about this.
But the Keenan and Kel show's not coming back, right? It's just Good Burger 2.
I think it's just Good Burger. But still, they're coming back together. And then I remember thinking, okay, I need to tell Chris about this. But I wasn't at the point. I think like maybe I was watching TikTok at like 8 a.m. or 9 a.m., which meant you were sleeping. So I didn't want to text you. And so it just popped right back in my brain.
I saw someone who said they better release this on an orange VHS tape because that's how I remember the Good Burger movie on that bright orange Nickelodeon VHS tape. That was such a classic. Okay. I have not watched that movie in who knows how many years, maybe decades.
Oh, me neither. I don't remember what happens. I just remember it was good.
Mondo Burger was trying to get them shut down. It was like that big burger chain that came in. If you ever seen this movie from 25 years ago, this is what happens. But I loved that. I loved all that, and then so of course I watched the movie.
Oh yeah.
Scruggy Mama said Sinbad was in it. I don't remember this movie at all. Hold up, let me go bring this up. I do not remember this.
We should have a viewing party.
Should we do a viewing party of Good Burger? Party. Where is that even streaming?
I don't know.
I don't even know where. Okay, let's see. Good Burger. I guess that would be 2 words, not one.
Oh man, we're aging ourselves.
You 1997.
Watch the full movie on Paramount Plus.
Oh yeah, they do have all the Nickelodeon stuff over there.
Oh.
So 1997 is when that came out. So we were 10 years old exactly when that movie came out.
We were. Oh, the good old days.
Wow. Yeah, Sinbad. Linda Cardellini. Wow. Who is she? I know she's in stuff, right? I've seen her in stuff.
I don't know people's names.
I don't know people's names either. Hold on. How do I bring this up on the screen? It's been so long since we've done this. I'm like, how do these buttons work? Which one does what? Here we go. Let's do this. So yeah.
Froggy Mama said she was 12. I love it.
12. Yeah, look at this.
See, what's really sad is like Matt didn't watch this because he was too old for it. You know, he missed out.
Yeah, how much older is he than you?
He's 4 years older than me.
So I guess he would have been 14. 14 is probably a little too old to be watching Good Burger for the first time.
Yeah, exactly. So
look at this.
He wasn't watching this. Well, that and he didn't have cable, remember?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So he didn't have the joy of Nickelodeon. He read books instead. Joke was on him.
Did you see this? They did this skit with both of them.
No.
On Jimmy Fallon. And then they also did a Kenan and Kel skit on SNL when I think Keke Palmer was on there not that long ago. I was like, you could tell something was brewing. I should have known something was up.
Oh, yeah, you should have known.
But I want to know. Okay, I want to know the purpose. I want to know what's about to happen on this. But we should probably get back to the actual show.
Let's get back. I'll bring us back. I can do it this time.
You sure you're gonna do this?
I can. Watch. Here we go. You ready?
All right.
Okay, Chris. I want to hear this call. Can you play it for us?
Oh, you did it. You brought us back from the break. I'm so proud of you. All right, here we go. Hopefully the volume is normal level when I hit this button.
Hi, Chris. Hi, Allison. This is, I guess, an awkward money story that I thought was weird for my coworker. So at work, we were talking about all things couples and finances and stuff. We were pretty comfortable with each other. And he brought up that when him and his wife were getting married, one of the conditions they had to get married was that she had to pay off all her credit card debt before he was willing to marry her. And I thought that was kind of a little weird. I get it if it's like something that you feel maybe, okay, you could tackle on your own after you get married, but like to have it as a condition for marriage, I thought was kind of interesting. I let him know at the time, but anyway, was wondering what your thoughts were on the situation.
Ooh, so Allison, I know you were ready to talk about this one, so you just take it away.
First off, I want to say I love that she said I let him know at the time. I let him know at the time. I thought that was weird. I feel like she and I should be friends because I love that. I love that energy. Like, oh, I'm going to tell you what's up. Here's the deal. I feel like that is like anytime you're giving something, it feels like an ultimatum. Like, boom, that feels like an ultimatum right there. And it doesn't feel like a healthy ultimatum to have because I mean, it's just like, oh, I'm not going to marry you if. I'm not going to marry you if you have credit card debt. I'm not going to marry you if you weigh this much. I'm not going to marry you if you don't get a better job. Like, there shouldn't be these ultimatums if you're even getting to the point of marriage. So, like, if that's what it comes down to, then maybe you shouldn't be marrying that person. Like, I know that's a very like putting my flag in.
Wow, you're coming in hot right away.
I'm staking my flag in the sand on that. But I will say that, like, I am someone, you know me, Chris. I really try to be understanding. I try to look at both sides all the time. I try to have a lot of empathy. So part of me is like, well, we don't know where this guy came from, and like maybe he had parents that, you know, really struggled, and maybe he really struggled. But regardless, like, when it comes to something like committing to marriage, if that's how much of a big deal it is, then just have separate finances. Like, don't say we can't get married unless you pay off your credit card debt. Just say, hey, I want to get married, but I'd rather keep our finances separate. Like, that is a healthier way to go about it than being like, you have to do this. Because what that is that's pointing your finger, that's saying you did something wrong. You better fix it or else. And I don't like that.
Well, Allison, I did not expect you to come in that hot with your take on that. This is what I would say. We're getting the message relayed to us through a third party, right? So we didn't get to hear their words, right? We don't know if he was like, if she doesn't pay off this debt, I don't even want to see her face. She better throw that ring in the trash. We didn't hear it, or if it was like that.
You said that to her.
Or it could have been simple. Hey, you know what? I talked to my fiance, and one of the things we agreed upon is that, you know, we would both be debt free, and she has a student loan. So we don't know how. We don't know. But we don't know how the conversation went. It could have been a lot more balanced. It could have been a lot more like, hey, we discussed it, and this was important to me. That like I didn't want to enter into this marriage with someone who had debt. I didn't want to start things off, because even if you keep your money separate, once you're married, they can kind of start to intertwine, because more than likely you're probably going to file your taxes together. If they're like defaulting on their debt, if they're, you know, over not handling what they need to do, not paying their taxes, all that stuff could still come back to you. So I just want
to say something to you right now.
Okay, I'm listening.
You're going out on this limb saying like, well, we're hearing this from the third party, blah, blah, blah. But our job isn't to determine, well, this isn't a job at all. But our job, when we stepped up to this position, when we took on the responsibility of hosting this podcast, our job was not to essentially
have level-headed takes.
Change. No, it wasn't to change the conversation and take into consideration. It was to take the conversation, take the story that was offered up to us, no matter who it came from, and speak on that. You're trying to take that call and turn it around and speak on something completely different.
All I'm saying is I'm just adding a little more context here, because look, I trust our listeners. So if our anonymous person called in and left this for us, then you know what? I trust that they're relaying the story accurately.
Yeah, are you calling her a liar?
But I'm not calling her a liar. But I just want to add some balance to this, because, you know, there's a chance that, you know, maybe he was in there just saying, hey, this is something that we agreed upon. He didn't really have the time to express himself fully. Or he could also be a jerk, and he was just like, I don't care. You're not bringing debt into my relationship. So I don't know, but there's a chance it could have been more of a, you know what, this is just what I wanted to start, you know, this relationship off with.
Probably true too, but we just haven't recorded in a while, and I just felt a little feisty. I will say though that whenever Matt and I were talking about getting married, because we were talking about it before, getting engaged, it wasn't like this big shock where he had a ring and proposed and we had never discussed it. He wanted to wait until he was credit card debt free to propose to me. And I was like, nah, that's not important. Just come on, let's just do this. But that was one of his goals. His goal was to not go in debt for my ring and to save up for it and pay off his credit card.
And you said, I want you to go into deep, deep debt for this ring. You're like, I need you to still be paying for this 30 years from now.
I said, pull your together, because I want to be married to you. So I was basically like, well, let's find a way to get a less expensive ring. And so we got a very minimal ring. We bought the diamond and the band separate because we went to like a wholesale diamond place. We went in and looked at the diamond, and the whole thing was he was like trying to save money but not telling me when like how much he had saved. And so I think it was like $1,400 was the diamond. And we went in and he was like, okay, go wait in the car. And I waited in the car and called my mom. I was like, he's buying the diamond. Like, it was so not like romantic at all.
I mean, hey, it makes for a great story.
Yeah, but we were, but it's very interesting because I was like the exact opposite. I was like, I don't care if you have credit card debt. Like, but of course I had no idea what that getting credit card debt meant. I didn't understand the complexity of it. And yeah, maybe the girl has like $50,000 worth of credit card debt, or maybe it's really maybe it's a really big burden. But I still think that sounds like an ultimatum.
I mean, it sounds like they got married, right? Because they're referring to this in the past tense, like that was a requirement before they got married, but they did get married, right? That's what that's how I interpreted it.
I interpreted it as she left him. She said, "This is not. If you're gonna say this to me, then I'm out." That's the way I heard the story. Is that not what happened?
I think you blacked out once you heard the first part of that story. But I want to ask you one. I have multiple questions, but the one I want to ask you first is, how did Matt take that when you said, forget your goals, been debt free. We're about to do this now, so we're going to do this in a different way. How did he take that?
I mean, he didn't really take it. He just said, I didn't come out and say it like that, because I was just like, oh, I didn't understand. I didn't understand why I had never had credit card debt. So I have never carried a balance on a credit card ever. No point in your life ever. No, because I couldn't get a credit card for so long. They just wouldn't give me one.
You're like, I tried to get credit card debt. They just would not give it to me.
They were like, oh, we already know you're not going to pay us back. We're not even going to open this up for you.
You're like, I promise I'm going to be a great customer. Just please let me get this credit card.
Exactly. No, I couldn't get one. And so he had credit card debt when we met, and he wanted to pay it off. But we still hadn't really talked about money. That was the only thing we had ever talked about with money, was the fact that he wanted to.
That was the first conversation.
Pay off his credit card debt. Yeah, that was the first and only conversation we had until we got married and realized we were pregnant. That's it. It was the only conversation we ever had about money.
So do you think then that you would have approached it differently? If you could time travel Allison right now, 2023 Allison, back to that point in time, and he said, you know what, I want to be debt free before we get married, how would you have handled it differently? Or would you have handled it the same way? Would it have been really the same outcome?
I probably would have handled it the same way, because what we did, because he said, I want to be credit card debt free, which he actually wasn't by the time we got married. He wasn't. He had like $4,000 on a credit card that we paid off pretty quickly. We ended up, what happened was, he told me that, and I was upset. I was kind of like bummed. I wasn't like mad. I wasn't like, how dare you be so responsible, right? I was just like bummed out, because he was also saying it because we were going out and we were doing a lot of things and just spending money. And
there's more to it. It just wasn't wedding specific.
Just that. Yeah, and then he didn't want to add to his credit card debt to buy me a ring. So it was very much like, we have to wait a little bit longer. So like his car broke down or something, and it required like a $400 fix. So I was like, I'll pay for it. Like, I paid for his car to be fixed because I knew that was going to come out of Allison's wedding ring fund. I really wanted to marry him.
I could tell.
Yeah. So.
All right. So basically, same thing. You're like, I probably would have been exactly the same if you were to go back in time.
Probably. I mean, but like, I probably would have been the same. But I think that any time that you put conditions on something that is a conditions on someone else, that's where the difference is, because he put a condition on himself. He said, I want to be, that's important for me to do this and reach that goal. Whereas in this story, it's been flipped. The condition has been put on her. And that's where it gets a bad taste in my mouth.
I could understand that. The way you phrase that, I could get that, because I see her in Discord, Scrub Your Mom was like, that would be, there would no longer be an engagement if this was their situation. Yeah. And I think it's all about how you approach it, right?
Exactly.
If you come in hot, like, look, your financial life is messed up, and I'm not about to bring those problems into my life, so you need to clear that up before we get together. That's a whole different way of approaching it versus, look, I'm concerned about this, and I really don't like debt. It makes me really, you talk about how it makes you feel, all those things. And then these are the reasons why I think we should wait until we can establish a stronger financial footing for both of us. Like I feel right now, I feel it's a little uneasy. Those are two completely different approaches to it. And do you still feel the same way about both of those approaches? You're like, I don't care how you present it to me. I don't like this.
I don't know. I think it's different. I think if he would have said, like, I prefer to keep our finances separate. But I also think that it's very different for someone who's younger versus older. Okay. So I think about me at 25 years old or 24 years old. Like, everything leading up to that, my financial state, like, I didn't know any better. I was just doing the best I could.
You're just winging it, like
now,
all of us.
Yeah. Like, but me now, I think, like, if God forbid something happened to Matt's been like, if something happens to me, I want you to remarry. And I'm like, shut up. Right. But I think if something were to happen to Matt, and I've thought about this because my grandparents always said this. They always said that they would do this. They've been married 65 years. They're still alive. I get to rub that in your face. Remember, I have
wow, again, bringing living grandparents into this story. I mean, that's more disrespectful than this call, but go ahead.
But I always said that, like, if that happened, I would keep finances separate to protect myself, my assets, and my children. Like, I would not be interested in commingling finances because of, just having kids involved in it and everything, because that comes with age. But at like 24, 25, if you don't have any of that you're bringing with you into the marriage, like, I would see it as disrespectful.
So even if it's presented in a more appropriate way, you would still find that disrespectful?
No, I wouldn't find it disrespectful. I would find it somewhat concerning. It would have to be said in a very specific way. And also, I feel like sometimes everything would have to be fair. I feel like so often women get trapped in marriages. Like, I know someone personally that's, like, trapped in a marriage because financially she can't leave. And there's fear there. And so I think that there always needs to be some sort of independence or autonomy for women in relationships, women in particular. And just this whole question, just this whole condition thing, it just really gives me red flags.
That's interesting. Let's dig into this a little bit more, Allison. Let's dive into this, because I want to better understand too. Because obviously, the way this is structured, it's the man who's saying this to the woman. That dynamic is always going to be different than it's the other way around. It's a lot. There's a lot that goes into all of this. But do you think it's wrong then to have maybe, I don't know if it's like boundaries or like, not conditions, I don't want to use that word again, but maybe like expectations or just certain things that are maybe like non-negotiable for you? Like, is that being too crazy when it comes to a relationship to be like, look, I like you, but I don't want this for my life, and this is kind of what you have going on right now, and
then don't be in the relationship.
Oh, so for you it's like a all or nothing, like don't even date this person.
Well, not even that, but like, okay, if someone were to come to me and be like, I really like you, but this one very important aspect of your life, I just don't really care for it. Can we keep that completely separate? Like, I want you, but just not this one piece of you.
But not your financial responsibility.
No, like, yeah, but like, that is a piece, that is a massive aspect of someone. And it's not even, if he had come to her and said, hey, listen, here's how you do it in a respectful way. You come to them and you
was my way not good enough? Wow, just whatever, Chris.
I don't even remember what you said. I was
you weren't even listening to me.
That's normal. If he were to come to her and say like, hey, I want us to be able to start off together in a place financially where we both feel very secure. Like, what if we were to set up a plan and I could help contribute to your credit? Like, I could help you get to where you want to be by the time we get married.
So
right?
Is
something that we're both comfortable with.
So if the other person came, because we have no numbers, we have no details on this at all.
Yeah.
Let's just make up some details so we can talk about it. Let's just say the person who had the debt, they had, I don't know, let's say, they didn't even say what type of debt it was, did they? It was student loans, right?
They said credit card debt.
Was it credit card debt? Okay.
Let's say $20,000.
Yeah, let's say it was $20,000 in credit card debt. Now, just put yourself in the shoes of the other person. do you think it's right for that person to pay for the debt of that person coming into the relationship? Are you assuming that?
You know what I would say is, if it was me and I was going into a relationship with a person and that person had credit card debt, and it was important to me that I not like roped into this, right? Because it seems like that's really what his concern is he doesn't want to be commingling and be part of this debt.
Yeah. Well, we're assuming. We don't know. We don't know what his reasons are.
Yes. Then.
Bless you.
Thank you. Then what I would say is, I want us to be able to start off on like a really good fit financially, like a really good foot financially. I know that you have this credit card debt. I would love for you to be able to focus on doing that. Why don't I help cover more of the other everyday expenses? And I take on more of that. Like I'll take on a bigger portion of that. So that way you can really focus on that goal. Like that to me, even if they're not living together, like let me take care of when we go out to dinner. Like I want to be able to do that so that way you can reach that financial goal. That's very similar to what I did for Matt when I wanted him to save up to buy that ring, and his car got in a wreck or whatever, something happened. I don't even remember what happened to it. I just remember being like, I'll pay for it.
Like it doesn't matter what happened. Here's the money.
Yes. But to me, it was important because I saw that as a way to help someone I loved. He didn't want me to pay for his credit card debt. He did not want that, but he was willing to accept that gift from me. It didn't come with strings attached. It was a gift. Actually, It came with a ring attached.
Yeah, that was the string was the ring. This is for the ring. So,
yes. But I mean, like that to me is a very like more empathetic and kind way to do it.
What? Okay, I got so many questions are popping up. This is a great. I'm happy the person sent this in because this is bringing up all kinds of conversations for me here. Okay,
you want to hear about it from a woman's perspective, right?
Yeah, I want to hear your thoughts on it, which I feel like okay. But here's
I am a woman.
You are a woman. What I was thinking was, because I've been reading up on all this banking stuff, right? Like we see all the banking collapses and getting taken over, and I learned a new term I was not aware of called moral hazard. And what it refers to is with these banks, by the government stepping in and basically covering all their deposits and preventing the people who bank them from running out of money, all this stuff, or losing their money, are they creating a moral hazard where now these banks are like, well, the government's just going to step in whenever we mess up, so I'm just going to keep doing the crazy stuff and then let the government come in and bail me out because, it'll be fine. I don't need to clean up and do things better. And it made me think of the situation. Are you creating a situation in which maybe someone is financially irresponsible and you're saying, look, I know you made mistakes. We don't know how this person got the debt, but you know what? Let me go ahead and take care of this for you because we're going to be together. Let me go ahead and pay this off. Is that person learning anything? Are they going to be better with their money now? Or is it just you've made new runway for them to accumulate a new $20,000 in debt? That's a thought that runs through the back of my mind.
Only time will tell. Right? Like, I mean, honestly, if you think about it, like I wouldn't assume that person would do that until we see a pattern. But I'm the one. I mean,
the pattern is the debt they brought into the relationship. They have a pattern kind of going.
That's that one pattern, but we're not seeing a pattern of them like receiving a bailout, like you said, and then not changing their behavior. So, but I'm always glass half full kind of person. Like I see the good in everybody, right? Like, so I'm saying, like you're innocent until proven guilty. So you are like. By thinking that way, you are assigning a pattern to someone that they haven't even had an opportunity to either follow or go against. So I think that's wrong.
Now, maybe he knows this person. Like you hope if they're deciding to get married, he knows this person. He knows they know each other well. Maybe he's doing this because he sees the pattern. And he's like, I know you're not that responsible with money. So for me to feel comfortable, I need to see that you can handle this part of your finances and know that it's not going to be something that's going to keep coming up down the road in our relationship. And by doing this, by taking care of this one thing, it makes me feel more comfortable that I can trust you financially going forward. It could be something like that. So does that change the way you feel about it?
That still feels icky to me, and here's why.
Okay.
It still feels like this like red flag or this yellow flag of like, you need to change part of you for me to accept you. Like, if it means that much to him, get out of the relationship.
Well, I mean,
Like,
but then you're associating someone's actions with their personality. Like maybe, just because you have debt, you're not your debt, right? Like, so maybe he's not saying you're a bad person,
okay,
but I need you to handle this part of things before I'm
then keep
comfortable.
all the finances separate. Like that's
Wow.
to
So there's
me.
no, it's a either or. It's like there's no like gray in that middle of all this.
If it's important enough to him like that, like, but I also think it has to be what are her thoughts on it. It
Mm.
also has to be like that because I am obviously taking like this strong stance, but
I know
like
you hate this
I
man
was
already.
I'm not. It's just that I don't
I'm
like
just messing
him
with
at
you. I'm messing
all.
with you.
I think that it also has to be like where is because I'm you know how I'm envisioning it. This is why.
Yeah,
This is
let me
how
hear this.
I'm envisioning it as someone taking an authoritative role in
Mm.
a relationship where you're meant to be equals.
Okay.
That's where
Yeah.
I'm struggling with this. And that probably goes back to something I need to go to therapy for, right? Like it
Yeah.
probably goes
Yeah.
back to my childhood or whatever. But like immediately when I heard this, that was my thought. And so I immediately have a wall up
Mm.
because I feel like he's trying to control her. And like you should be equals in a relationship. But maybe, like I'm more sensitive to that. And maybe she's not. Maybe she's like, thank you. I need some guidance. I need someone to like help motivate me. And like, this is exactly what I need. Like, that could be if you don't have any type of issue, like daddy issues or whatever, that could be possibly it. I have no idea. So I do have to probably stop talking now before
No,
I
no,
just
no.
spill everything out as a therapy session. Do I pay you before the therapy session or after?
I trust you. I'll bill you afterwards. It's okay.
Okay, great. Okay, great. So I don't know. I think that it definitely is a tough one, but to me, it says red flag. Would I have noticed those red flags as in my 20s? No, I would have been blind to them. I think age brings, more of that out. What do you think, though?
Well, I wanted to hear your perspective because I think it's more important in this because of the dynamics of this relationship. It's a man giving an ultimatum to a woman, and there's already the power dynamics, like you mentioned, are already there. Like it just already exists, so it adds more layers to all of this.
Exactly.
So that's why I wanted your take before I even said anything. Because I agree with you. It really depends on how this was approached, how the conversation went. And he could just be giving the really short version of it with leaving out all the context and details. He could also be giving a better explanation to this person than he gave to his fiance. And it was way worse than it even sounds.
Exactly.
I don't think there's anything wrong with having conversations before you make the decision and kind of setting boundaries and saying, what it is that you want. Because it may, like you said, it may bring up the fact that you don't need to be in this relationship. That may be the outcome after having the conversation, but you have to have it, right? So
Yeah.
But I agree with you 100%. It's all about how it's brought up. It can never be you do this because I said you do this.
Exactly.
It should be this is how your actions make me feel. And this is what I'm looking for going into this very big, agreement you're going to make here, this contract you're signing. So I think it's all about how you approach it and and keeping it equal. Like you said, it's about keeping it equal and keeping it fair and agreeing together that this is what you want, not I'm saying this is how you need to do this.
Yes, and maybe I was a little triggered.
I can feel it. I can feel it.
I'll go on record saying maybe I was a little triggered, but I'm a really big believer in not having like one person's in control.
Yeah.
In a relationship, and that just felt like that from that call. Like he was in control and setting up conditions, and you have to do this, and maybe it's not, but anytime you're in a relationship where one person's trying to control you, especially when it comes to money, like that is a red flag. I'm not saying you can't work through it. I'm not saying you can't go to therapy, and I'm not saying people can't change, but it is a red flag.
It is. And the fact that this situation has existed for so long and in so many different instances, I think it's probably safer to assume that he was being a horrible person than that he was being, great and he just explained it horribly wrong. Because there's just so many situations where men try to dominate the relationship as a whole, like everything, like the money, how things are going to operate. And so I completely get why your mind went there because it just happens all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does. So, wow, this was an interesting conversation. I want to hear from anyone who's listening.
Yes.
If you have ever like honestly, like been in a relationship where there was some sort of like financial control, or know of people that have. I want to hear your thoughts on it. Like, do you think that it's unreasonable what he's asking? Do you think it's unreasonable for, or do you think it is reasonable? I guess that's what I just want to hear. So send us a message. You can go to www.awkwardpodcast.com or send us a DM on Instagram. This is Awkward Podcast.
Or you can even call us too. 707
call us.
200 8259. You can call in with your responses to this episode in our conversation, or you can just call in if you got an awkward story you want us to discuss, and let Allison get very angry with whoever you're going to reference.
No, I'm not.
Story.
Hold on.
I'm just messing with you.
I'm not going to get angry with every call. Please call us. I will be nice. I promise. I will be nice.
I'm just giving you a hard time. But no, this was a great call. This is a great call. I think this brought up a really good discussion that we had here that I was not expecting when I first saw this come through. I didn't know how we were going to approach this, but I'm very happy that we get to talk about this. I think this is a good one. This is probably something that I think a lot of people listening to this have either experienced or seen someone go through something like this, and I want to hear how it went, because for me, I want to hear the perspective, because obviously I'm a man. This is a whole different, if I enter a relationship, it's a whole different dynamic of what I think and say about money than from a woman's perspective and how they experience those same situations. So I always like hearing from other people how they interact in these things and what that feels like and what that really means for them, because I'm sure it's much different than what I'm thinking about some of this stuff.
Yeah, it's different for all of us. I mean, just based on our past experiences.
Yeah, it's a lot. So thank you to our anonymous caller. We really appreciate you sending that in. That was a really good one to talk about. We will be back after a quick break to hop into Allison's favorite segment, What I'm Loving.
Oh, and I have a good one.
Boom. I brought my ruler out. That's the break.
No, we need the confetti.
This is my ruler that I use when I make Instagram videos. I stick my microphone on this thing.
Oh, yeah, I've seen those.
Like I'm in a 1960s game show. That's what I'm going for.
I use a ruler to make straight lines on my calendar.
But that was a good one. That was a good one. I did not expect that conversation to come from that one.
I wasn't too much, was it? We're gonna get some.
No,
we're gonna get some mean. We're gonna get a mean review about that one. That's okay. They don't know my heart.
The point of this show is for us to have honest conversations. It's not about making other people happy with the conversation. It's about having a real conversation.
Right. Karen, you want or whatever, some random guy's name that always complains about me.
Kevin. Yeah, but no, it's fine. I was like, let me balance it out, because you came in hot. So I was like, well, I can't just automatically agree right off the bat. Let me balance out a little bit on the other side. But I'm like, why do I always gotta get stuck defending?
What's wrong with you, Chris?
Why do you always leave me defending potentially horrible people? I don't want that on my track record.
Well, no one can hear it through that soft, buttery voice of yours, so you're fine. People in one ear, out the other.
Oh man.
Okay, I'm ready. Ready?
Do you want to bring us back for a second time in one episode?
Do it. I already know what I'm going to say.
All right, I'm ready for it.
Chris, do you know what time it is?
I think I do, but please tell me.
It's time for What I'm Loving. This is when. Wait, where's the music?
What music?
Where's the do?
Oh, hold on, wait. I didn't have that on. Wait, give me a second.
Come on, Chris. It was going on in my head. I was hearing the noises in my head.
All right. Run it back.
Here we go. It's time for What I'm Loving.
You gonna do it? Okay.
This is when Chris and I share something that's bringing us joy. It could be a book. It could be a thing. It could be a person. It could be a TV show. It could be an idea. It could be a state of mind. Whatever it is making us happy, and we want to share it with you in the hopes that you will find a little bit of happiness in your day as well.
Beautiful. Well done, Allison.
I had my caffeine today.
So I'm going to go first. Okay. I'm not going to give you the option because I have a twofer. And the first thing I'm loving is the fact that if you're watching us live, this has not happened yet. But by the time, if you listen to this on the podcast, then this has already happened. It's the release of Allison's new book, Money Made Easy. There's a big poster on the background. I can kind of see it at the corner over your shoulder there. There it is. So congratulations on the book launch and actually being a thing now. How does it feel to have a book that's actually like out there that people can buy?
Oh my gosh, it's really terrifying. It's really, really terrifying. It's super scary. It feels okay. I mean, it feels like I I don't know. It's really like really weird. It is the most vulnerable thing I've ever done in terms of like in my business, which is weird because we have this podcast, I have my other podcast, I've been blogging, I've
You're doing
like
everything.
cried on social media, like it really but this feels very vulnerable, and but I'm really excited for it. I can't believe it's out. One thing I feel like that makes it different is it's just like wrapped up in stories. I was telling a friend earlier today I was talking about the book, and I was like, I mean, let's be honest, it's a nonfiction book. Like, it's not like reading money books isn't always fun, right? It's not like it's enjoyable all the time.
No.
But I really tried to make this book be very story driven throughout the chapters. So that way it is actually enjoyable to read. So I'm excited.
So it says here, it's at Barnes & Noble. Is it in a physical store? Can I actually go there and get it?
So it should be in most physical Barnes & Nobles.
Are you telling me I need to go drive to Barnes & Nobles and go and, all right, there's no S in the Nobles, is it? Barnes & Noble? No. And I need to go and take a picture and buy a copy in person?
I mean, if someone doesn't beat you to it,
I'm going to do that.
To it.
I already pre-ordered it. I already pre-ordered a couple copies, but if I can go find this physically, I'm going to go there. I'm going to take a picture. I'm going to send it to you. I'm going to buy it.
Oh my gosh.
Can I sign it? Oh, can I sign it with your name?
Absolutely. 100%. You can put in quotation marks, Allison Baggerly, and then put dash Chris Browning.
There we go. I'm not going to deface your books. I won't do that because someone's going to be like, who is Chris Browning and why is his name in this book?
Well, and if you get the book, for anyone who orders it, Money Made Easy, place your order now if you're watching this live, because you can pre-order it. But if not, go buy it now. Be sure to read the acknowledgments, because I give Chris a shout out in the acknowledgments. It's a very heartfelt thing I say about him.
I thought you were lying. I was like, okay, sure, whatever, Allison. But it was there. You showed it to me. I was like, okay.
Yeah. Do you want me to read it? I have it. Should I read it?
Go ahead. This will be a preview. Also,
okay,
one thing I told you, Allison, as a extra bonus for our patrons, I should get to read I'm gonna read an excerpt from your book. As if I'm the audiobook. I think I got to do that.
Oh yeah, too bad I don't have a story in there about giving birth. I would like for you to read that.
I stepped into the hospital uneasy and uncertain about what was going to happen.
Here's Chris's shout out in the book. It says, a special thank you to Chris Browning and Bola Shikumbi. Chris, thank you for always believing in what I can do, even when I doubt you at first. Thanks for being there to tell me I told you so when I reached new heights. Oh. You're one of my best friends.
I feel it right there.
One of my best friends.
I gotta get that framed.
Can we talk really quickly about how we actually I talk to you more than I talk to some other people. I don't know. It's just so crazy to me. I'm having a moment. It's so crazy to me that you and I became friends through the internet. That's
the sketchiest place to be.
Sketchiest place you can talk. Became friends. And what year was it?
17, 2018, something like that?
2018. We connected through the internet, not in a creepy way, guys. In a very I just sent him a couple feet pictures. No, I'm kidding.
No, please don't. Please do. Scratch that from the internet's record.
Steve, cut that out. Steve's our editor. But it's just so cool that we could become friends and hang out, know each other in person, and have a podcast. And it's if without this kind of crazy world we live in, you and I would have never crossed paths, really, just living so far apart. That
is true. Because when am I ever in Texas, and when are you ever in California? It's very rare.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, it's exciting.
No. I mean, look, internet's full of weirdos, but every now and then you can find a weirdo who you're like, you know what, I can tolerate this weirdness. You know?
Thank you.
No, but I'm very proud of you with this huge accomplishment, and I'm happy that I could see you finally get there. Even though you never listen to anything I say, every now and then some of that trickles in.
Listen.
Every now and then a little bit trickles in.
I listen to you. It just you have to say it 3 or 4 times before I believe you.
That's all. But no, congratulations. Everyone go out, pre-order this book. Or pre-order it or order it, depending on where in time you're hearing us say this. Just go get it.
Just go get it. And if you're like, hey, if you can get it and you can gift it to someone, you can read it first all the way through and then give it to someone else, pass it along. If you don't want to buy it, that's fine. Call your library, ask them to order it.
Boom.
Just tell them the name of the book and the author. You don't have to buy it. Just get it in the library. Then you can check it out and other people can check it out.
Actually, I need to do that. I'm going to do that for my local library.
I need to do that for my local library.
But you know what? I said this was a twofer. I'm just going to leave it at that. That's the one thing I'm loving this episode.
Well, thank you. Well, what I'm loving is actually I have to throw it back to you, Chris, because you're the one who told me about this.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for giving me credit. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. I did not stumble upon this gold on my own. I took Chris's advice. And it is the show Shrinking on, what's it on?
Apple TV Plus.
Apple TV Plus? What's Apple TV Plus?
Apple's streaming service.
What's Apple TV?
A box where you can watch stuff on.
Oh, I didn't know that. Anyway.
I'm sorry, we didn't get to have our tech session before we hopped on there to explain how that works.
Okay, so Shrinking is a TV show with, who's in it? The guy from How I Met Your Mother.
It's Jason Segel. Jason Segel, Harrison Ford.
Oh, yeah, Harrison Ford. He's not
Jessica Williams. There's a bunch of people in this.
It is so good that it's basically Jason Segel is a therapist, and I'm not going to give anything away. They tell this in the first episode, but his wife passes away. And so it's the whole storyline is basically just like him picking up the pieces of his life and then the characters involved in his life reacting to it. It is the most hilarious show. Chris, that's the TV show that Logan told you about.
He did not tell me about that. He's been trying to take credit for this show. I give him the best TV recommendations all the time. I told him about this, but he's trying to take credit for it. So don't listen to him. Ignore his comments in the Discord.
Okay. Logan, thank you for telling Chris about this show so he can tell me. We know it all came from you first.
Wow.
But I will say that we were watching this when we were on our spring break trip. We had this little 1-bedroom cabin. So we're in a queen size bed and our kids are next to us, in the same room. And Matt and I had our AirPods in and we were watching this while the boys were trying to go to sleep. And we were just both laughing out loud, like could not contain ourselves. Our kids were getting so mad, yelling at us about how loud we were, but we had to finish the episode. It was amazing.
It is such a good show. It's like, it reminds me of not Ted Lasso and then it's like the same thing, but it's like one of those, like you feel good watching the show, even though it's like sometimes it could be like a heavy subjects they cover. You still feel like I just enjoyed that, half hour or however long it is of watching that episode.
It is so relatable. It is so relatable. And it's not like this, it's not like we're also watching The Last of Us. And that's just
you're just stressed out when that's over.
You're stressed out. And it's just stuff that would never happen in real life, hopefully. Although, did you see that they're concerned about a fungus?
Every time I see a video with mushrooms in it, everyone's like, I'm not eating those cordyceps.
But anyway, all of that to say that this is something that it's very relatable because all of these things can happen in real life and have probably happened in real life to people. And
did you give them the breakdown of the show?
I said that it was his wife dies and it's him. He's a therapist and it's him picking up the pieces of his life. And really his wife dying really triggers him to see therapy in a new light and the way he helps others. And so you kind of get pulled into the story of how he's helping others, but it is just amazing. Harrison Ford is also a therapist. He's the owner of the practice there. So is Jessica, what would you say her name was? Jessica Williams?
I believe so. I'm horrible with actors' names, but I think it's on there somewhere. Yeah, Jessica Williams.
But it is amazing. I even told my friend Amanda, I was like, you need to get Apple TV just to watch this. It's just so good.
Yeah, it's worth subscribing for a month. I don't even know how much Apple TV is now. What is it, like $6 a month, I think, now at this point?
I have no idea.
Even if you got to pay for it, you don't got a free trial. This show alone is, I think, good enough to be worth the $6 to finish it.
Yeah.
I think there's only one episode left at this point because it's airing now week to week. What episode are they on? They are on episode 9. Episode 10 is coming out in 3 days. So the final episode of the season is coming out in a few days.
So by the time this airs on the podcast, it'll all be out.
Yeah.
And it's been signed on for a second season, which that means it's good.
Which I'm so nervous about. Whenever I find a show I like and it's the first season, I'm like, is this coming back? Because I've been hurt. I've been hurt too many times, Allison.
Yeah,
just take my shows away from me.
That's why Matt usually doesn't watch shows unless it's been renewed at least once. So
Yeah.
the fact that he's watching this is big.
Yeah, it is by far, I think, my favorite show this year so far.
Oh yeah, me
I've watched
too.
it at the top of the list.
Far. I will say though that Apple TV has done a really great job. Like they don't put out a lot of series, but the series I feel like they have put out, like they're good.
They're consistently good.
No Netflix.
Yeah, Netflix is like, you don't know exactly what you're gonna get. Like it could be, I mean, if
Netflix original.
You love shows where people get murdered or there's like drama. So you're, of course, you're not gonna say dying on the toilet, but you also love those shows. But yeah, Apple TV, like what have I watched on there so far? It's obviously Ted Lasso, Shrinking, Severance. I started watching Hello Tomorrow, After Party, Physical.
Yeah, that one was good. Oh,
they got a lot of good shows. That's all. I'm like, you know what? They're slowly becoming my favorite streaming service of all of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anyway, that's what I'm loving. So shout out to Logan for finding
Don't shout
that
him
show,
out. He gets no credit for this.
Telling Chris about it, and then Chris, thanks for telling me after Logan told you first.
Wow. Steve, cut that out. No, I'm joking. He may actually cut that out. Like, no, I'm just joking, Steve. You can leave that in there. But before we get out of here completely, we got to wrap things up with our final segment. I was gonna say what I'm loving again. It's called the listener shout out. This is where we just say, hey, thanks, appreciate you to someone who's listening and supporting the show. Do you wanna take it this week?
Yeah, I will. So our listener shout out is actually for a Patreon member, Christine. You have a birthday coming up. Not your birthday.
I was like, how do you know what her birthday is?
Your Patreon birthday, March 25th, which is just 4 days away from us recording this. Happy birthday. Thank you for joining us for a year, or your anniversary, whatever. Thank you for joining us for a year in the Patreon. We really appreciate your support. And if you want to be like Christine and you want to get bonus episodes, bonus content, access to Discord, be able to watch us live, then go to the show notes. Click the link there. You'll get more information about how to join, or go to patreon.com/thisisawkwardpodcast to sign up. You can join us, get extra episodes for $5 a month. You could also get rid of all those annoying ads we read.
That is very true. And also remember, I'm committing to this, Allison. I'm going to read an excerpt from your book as a little audiobook preview and put it in the Patreon feed for everyone.
Can I pick the section for you to read?
I prefer you do something with a lot of dialogue so I can just be you. I want to just be you and read through these very emotional moments in your life. That's what I want to do. Oh my gosh,
this is going to be amazing. It might just come straight for chapter 1. I think there's a line in there that's like tears streaming down my face. I want to hear you say that.
I'm gonna do a dramatic reading. Like I'm gonna turn the lights down in here, have like a little mood lighting, and I'm gonna get real dramatic as I read this. So join us on Patreon if you want that.
Yes, come get that because it's amazing. Oh my gosh, I want you to read can you just do it? Oh, we're going to do that. You know what? Yes. I'm going to have you read one paragraph in the next Patreon episode just to start us off.
Oh, yes. Just to get it started. Just so
people see what they're getting.
Oh, man. But you know what? We've reached the end of the episode because we're going to get to our Patreon episode we're going to record after this. But we appreciate our awkward caller who left their voice message for us. That really created a great conversation. I had a lot of fun with that conversation. If you want to be like them, you can call us at 707-200-8259. Leave your voice message there, or you can go to awkwardpodcast.com and you can write it in, make up whatever fake name you want, or you can even leave a voice message there too. But we're always asking for more because we want to. This is what makes this show great. Is when we get to hear your thoughts, your stories, your situation. So throw it in there. More than likely, you're gonna get put on the show because we're always in search of another good awkward story.
Yes, and if you are not part of Patreon, then we will see you in 2 weeks. But if you are part of our Patreon, then we'll be back with another episode. We're filming live right after this, but otherwise you'll have another new episode in your what is it called? RSS feed.
There you go.
Doesn't I sound fancy?
I know. You made it sound like you knew what you're talking about. I was very impressed.
I have no idea what RSS stands for at all.
Honestly, I don't even remember what RSS stands for, but just know your podcast app. It'll get over there.
There we go. Exactly. Okay. See you later.
See ya.
Okay. Do it. I put a link. I can't hear you anymore. Why can't I hear you?
I accidentally muted myself. That's what it was.
Oh, way to go. Okay, Chris, I put in the guest chat this link to the digital copy of my book. You can't put that everywhere. I'm only supposed to give that to you.
All right. Saying goodbye to Twitter, Facebook, and Twitch. We'll see you all later.
Bye-bye.
Boom, 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 and
Oh my gosh, just the first paragraph on this on page 1.
Okay, where is it? Oh, I see it right here. All right. We're officially starting Patreon right now. Here we go. All right, boom. So I'm reading this episode. Why can I not say excerpt?
It's a hard word.
I want to say expert. I'm mixing expert and excerpt together.
Just call it paragraph.
There we go.
You're using words that are too fancy for
Let me
you.
use a selection.
Selection. There you go.
Selection from
That's it.
Allison's book. Okay, all right. I got it open here. So I'm going to read a paragraph. What paragraph am I reading?
Just the first paragraph. This is the first paragraph of my book.
Of the book itself?
I'm really nervous. Oh my gosh, maybe you shouldn't read it.
Okay. All right, hold on. Let me get some water here.
Turn the music off. This is a dramatic moment. You have like this happy music in the background.
It automatically will fade away. My allergies have been killing me. All right. Is the music still playing?
California is turning into Texas.
I know. I stayed in a hotel and I had the heater on, and it was a horrible idea because it like destroyed me. I felt like I was a raisin when I woke up. All the moisture had left my body. I was just, my skin was dry, my throat was dry. I was But all right, I think the music stopped now, so I can officially read this.
Okay, here we go.
Let me read this dramatically. Wait, hold on. Let me make the lights dramatic here. Hold on. Let's see. Where are my
Can you
lights?
put a single spotlight on yourself?
I know. I wish I could. Let me see.
Here, make yourself big.
Oh, I gotta be big? Okay.
Oh, just take me off the screen.
No,
you
you gotta be there. You're there still. We gotta see your reaction. All right, here we go. So let's turn the lights. Okay, turn that light off.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, okay.
I don't want people to read it. I don't want people to read it, but I do.
Is this dramatic lighting? I can't tell.
It's okay.
Make this. Oh,
There you go.
A little more dramatic. And
There
then
you go.
Then I gotta put the backlight on. Let's see. Should I do purple for inspired budget?
Try it. Yeah.
That's not purple. What color is that?
Red, orange, yellow.
All right, let's see. Let me try this. What color is this?
Why is it only in one section?
And why? This says it's supposed to be purple. That is not purple. Okay, there we go. That's purple.
There you go. Okay, go ahead.
All right. Switch that one to purple. Bam. All right. I don't know what's going on, but that's good enough. This is from chapter 1 of Money Made Easy. It's called Finding Your Catalyst. I sat at the kitchen table with my head in my hands. Tears streamed down my face as my husband and I were hit with the reality of how far out of control our finances were. We had just found out we're unexpectedly pregnant a few weeks after getting married. After completing some simple math, we realized we would not be able to afford monthly daycare payments. My husband and I totaled up exactly how much debt we had. $111,108.29, not including our mortgage. Our minimum monthly payment totaled over $1,400 each month. I did a double take. Surely we had made a mistake when adding all of our debt into the calculator. For 2 teachers, this might as well have been a fortune.
One more paragraph.
One more paragraph? Okay.
This is a good one. Here you go, for you.
What were we going to do? How would we pay for childcare? Don't kids eat a lot? How would we afford groceries? And oh my goodness, don't hospitals cost a fortune?
Okay, that's enough. I need to ask them to let you read the audiobook.
So if you want more of that, you're not a patron.
But unfortunately, not in Chris's voice, in your own voice, in your head.
Just take that and just imagine that for the rest of the book. Well, I can show. Hey Siri, turn the. Wait, what's my command for this? I forgot already. Hey Siri, recording.
Fancy.
No, got it. Hey Siri, recording. Ah, there we go. Lights are back on.
Okay, perfect.
Turn this light back on there. But yeah, that was. Oh, yeah. I just want to read your whole book like that now.
Okay, go ahead. Be my guest.
But
You'll be able to very soon.
if there's one thing I knew you were going to do well is be vulnerable in your book. So that's, to me, that's what, like, if I'm going to read a money book, which, look, if I'm being honest, I don't like reading a lot of money books, but I do like it if I'm going to get some like real authentic stories.
Yeah, that's what like makes me nervous about it.
But
It is so vulnerable. Like it is because like people could be like, "Oh my gosh, you're overreacting," and like they can say that, but like I reacted exactly the amount I needed to react.
Yeah, who cares?
Like,
Who cares what they got to
yeah.
say? It's not for them anyways. It's not for those people.
Yeah, but anyway, thank you for that. Okay, actually, speaking of money books, Chris, I want to talk about this. I want to talk about it on Patreon because I'm having very mixed feelings about this book. Have you heard of the book Die with Zero?
I do not think that sounds vaguely familiar, but I know. Tell me about it. I don't think I know what this is.
Okay, so it's called Die with Zero, Getting All You Can from Your Money and Your Life by Bill Perkins.
Is this
so
new?
You can pull it up. I don't know if it's new. You can look it up. I don't know. I just listened to it.
Is this the guy here? Net fulfillment.
That little stick figure? Yeah, that's him.
That's what he looks like?
No.
Should I click this?
No, don't click that.
Okay.
But basically, the premise of it is to essentially. Oh wait, go. Hold on. There's the guy. Scroll up.
Did I pass him?
Yeah. Let's see. Him. That's him. Bill Perkins.
This man is a model. Who's this guy?
I know. Look at him. Oh, Bill. He looks good. Steve, cut that out. Anyway. His whole philosophy around money, like I don't know if I like it, but I like it, but I don't like it. So his whole philosophy is that you should aim to die with $0. Now, I'm going to say I feel like this is a very privileged like book and a very privileged mindset.
Yeah, because a lot of people would die with zero and don't need a book to tell them to do that.
Well, yeah, I mean that. But it's like it's basically saying that you should aim to spend all of your money on experiences and use the money that you have and that you're saving for retirement and everything. And your goal should be to essentially like give your money to your kids when you want them to have it, not wait for them to have an inheritance because they don't necessarily need it by the time you die. Like the average inheritance age is 60 and that's when people don't really need it. But like aim to give money to your kids sooner and like take more experiences throughout your life and then don't save as much. You don't actually need as much money as you think you do. And like you don't need to work as long as you think you do.
I got a lot of questions popping up, but I'm gonna let you finish.
Yeah. So it's this whole idea about this. So I had heard about this book, weeks ago, and this is actually, I'm actually doing really good on my book reading. I had a goal to read 23 books.
You're flying through these books.
I am. Let me pull up this new app I found called Goodreads, and it's a brand new app. I discovered it.
Okay.
And this was book number 8 for me of this year.
I'm impressed. Very impressed.
I'm 3 books ahead of schedule. And so this was book number 8. I'm trying to alternate between like nonfiction and fiction. And I've been wanting, this book has been on my list for, since January, I guess. And I got to it. It was really hard for me because it's basically he's saying like, yes, be responsible, but also spend your money. And like, yes, save for retirement, but you likely don't need as much money as you think you do. And there were all of these like facts and data and talking about like your death and like almost like figuring out your death age and then looking at like you can't wait to take these experiences in your life because the more people that wait to take these experiences, by the time they can afford them, they don't want to take them because their health has declined and they are older. And so it's very much about like use your time and money at certain ages of your life to do certain things.
One of the things I always struggle with, because, we talk about money stuff all the time, is that there's like, I haven't spent enough time thinking about this to know, like, have this eloquent breakdown of these thoughts I'm thinking, but it's almost like there's like tiers, there's like groups of people, right, who are existing and experiencing life in a certain way. So it's like those people who, they're just struggling, like they're making the lowest of anyone. Like a lot of this advice is not for those people because they're in a whole other situation where it's survival mode, right? Then
yes,
you have
and that's why I said that this is a very privileged mindset.
yes, right, exactly. Because for those people, this is like, don't come here and tell me this nonsense.
Exactly.
And then you get to people who are kind of like in that what we would consider, I guess, like the middle class, right? Like we make enough money to have a place to live. Our bills are pretty much covered, and you have like a little bit left over. You're not like wealthy, but you got enough to do something fun every now and then, right? And then you have the people who have there's probably more cheers in this, but there's the people who have more than enough money. Like they can choose to do most of what they want to do without any issues.
Chris, how do I edit the settings in my phone?
What are you doing? What is going on with your eyes?
I'm just looking.
What?
I turned my display on all the time, and I need to turn auto lock. That's what it's called. Sorry. Figured it out.
I'm really happy we had this little tech segment in the middle of this.
Sorry.
Anyways, before I was rudely interrupted. The other people who make
so you have
more
make
than
just,
enough money.
More than enough. And I feel like that's aimed for these people. But I feel like in the book, he also made it sound like it's for everyone. But really the premise is as long as this book is really, I think he's talking to anyone who is saving for retirement, right? So I think that when you're talking about that first tier of people, what you were saying is like they're barely making ends meet. Like the idea of saving for retirement is not even on their mind.
Yeah.
Like that is not something that they have the capacity to handle. And, so like this book is not for them. This book is for anyone that has the capacity to handle saving for retirement. And the argument is that it's important to save for retirement, but you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't save so much at the expense of living your life. Is really what it comes down to. And that you likely are saving more than you need. And he goes into like the calculations of that. And then it's the thought of like being intentional with your time during your years that best support the experiences you want to do. So he says like make a bucket list of everything you want to do. Now block from how old you are now. So you and I are about to be 36. So he says
elderly. No, I'm joking.
Don't say that. Block off every year in 5-year increments until you think you're going to die. So if we're going to live to be 90, I know. And he says, now take all the things you want to do and you say, okay, when is it realistic for me to do these things? Like you don't want to learn to ski. Like I've never been snow skiing. You don't want to learn to ski when you're 60. You don't want to wait until then. You want to take that experience and spend money on that earlier in life. But if you want to go get tickets, season passes to the opera or to the theater, you could wait and do that later
right
on
before
in
you
life.
die, right?
That's why you see all these old people. But it was very interesting, and I pushed back a lot on this book. Because I'm like, no, you shouldn't. Like, I have to save a lot of money for retirement. Like, I got to save now. And you know me, like, I do have a balance between spending and saving. But I have this mindset of, like, I need to save for retirement. Like, and I need to get there in 8 years. And I even had a conversation with Andy who reiterated what you have said to me.
That you need
before.
to relax.
He used the word chill. Yes. That I need to relax because my goal is to be financially independent by the time Matt retires teaching, which is in 12 years. But then I'm like, why make it 12? Let's make it 10. And then I'm like, why make it 10? Let's make it 8.
You know what? How about tomorrow? Yeah. Okay. Because when you were talking about this book, it immediately my defenses went up, but I try not to do that. But immediately I'm like, what are you talking about? But who knows? You got to make a catchy title. You got to do a lot of stuff to draw people in to buy your book. So maybe, that's part of it because it sounds like I like the idea of instead of waiting and to do all the things you've ever wanted to do in life when you retire to like, hey, plan it out and set up these like, okay, look, maybe we can do this tomorrow, but maybe if this thing I want to do is expensive, it's expensive if I need to do it tomorrow, but it's not that bad if I can plan for it over the next, 3, 4, 5 years. You can chip away at that. So I like when you phrase it that way. I was like, what, I kind of like this. It's when it put in a more balanced, nuanced way versus the title was like, die with no money.
Right. So what's crazy is that I'm going to spoil it, but at the end of the book, which I'm not spoiling it, he basically says this is what did he say? I was listening to it today or I finished it today.
Mm.
And he basically said, it's an impossible task.
Mm.
It's like, I'm asking you to do an impossible task, but it's a worthy goal. And so basically saying like, you're not going to actually die with $0. Like that's an impossible task to die with $0, but it's a worthy goal because the journey of getting there allows you to trade your time for money. So it's all about trading time for money.
Yeah.
And I really struggled with this book. Like when I tell you that I was like, shut up, Bill. Like, what is this? Like I was like there were things I was like, you're stupid. But so I like reading books like that because it really stretched my thinking. It really stretched my thinking. But I will say that Matt and I are listening to this book together.
Oh, nice.
And I don't know if I've told you this. I've told you. I don't know if I've told the podcast this. He's changing jobs.
Oh,
not
yes.
by a lot.
You
Have I
told me.
the podcast
You told me.
this?
I don't think you've mentioned it on the podcast, though.
Okay. Well, I know I wouldn't have mentioned on the main podcast, but our patron, it's like I feel like I tell them everything. He's a middle school band director, and his partner teacher, who he loves and they work so well together, has decided to leave the middle school, and he works 45 minutes to an hour away, depending on traffic. And as soon as he said she's leaving, I thought, oh my gosh, she's going to step up as head band director. And we've done head band director life before, and it's just time consuming.
A lot of responsibility, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's just more time away. And I was like, oh my gosh. And he said, no, I'm going to look for a job as an elementary music teacher. And so within 2.5 weeks, he accepted a position 4 miles away from our house. It's like a 10-minute drive.
That is nice. Because you said he was leaving at it's like dark outside basically when he was leaving to go to work.
He would go leave when it's dark and he'd get home when it's dark. He was gone for 12 hours every day.
That's a lot. That's hard to do every day of the week.
With the job, because it's like an 1.5 to 2 hour commute total. But let me tell you that when we're reading this book, it's all about how we get in this mindset of we have to keep working and working and working and working because we need to feel like we have enough when you likely already have enough. So it has been very eye-opening for him because he's like, I feel like I'm living out this book's what he's saying to do in this book because he is taking a pay cut because he's trading time for money. So he is willingly taking a pay cut to have more family time and to have more balance in his life. And it's like, I don't know. So he's loving the book, but it's very interesting. What do you think about this whole idea? It
is. And Scruggy Mama said too, she said, that sounds like my life, gone for 12 plus hours.
Yeah.
That was me when I used to work a 4-10 schedule at one of my jobs. And I had an hour plus one-way commute. So it's a 10-hour shift. So then add in your lunch. So I'm there for 11 hours. Then plus hour there and an hour back. It was like you have no life. Like during the week, you just all I do is this job. So it's
can you imagine having kids? Like Scroggy Mom over here has kids.
Yeah, I think little Scroggy Jr. is joining us too.
I know, and it's at the point now where her kids are older. But I'm sure if she was doing that when they were younger and they were going to bed a lot earlier, he would come home and have an hour with our kids, and that was it. And then they have to go to bed.
That's hard. But thinking about what you said, I'm coming around to it. I'm coming around and to understand what you're saying and what's in the book. And I think what makes sense in there when he talked about you may be saving more than you need to, which I don't know. I have no idea what the real numbers are on how much people are saving because you always hear there's a savings crisis, right? A retirement crisis. People are not putting enough money away. You don't really hear a lot of stories of people putting too much money away.
He says you don't even need 25 times your annual salary. And he says that he says you're overestimating what you're going to spend. And I'm like, what about inflation?
What? That's what I was going to bring inflation? Up. Because okay.
Right?
So the whole 25 times thing. Okay, can I get nerdy finance right now? Can I do that?
It's the 4% rule. It's withdrawing 4%. It's 99% chance you won't run out of money.
And that's what I was going to point out, right? The whole thing is they say it's safe to pull out 4% in the sense that if you do that, most people won't run. It's not that you'll get to zero by the time you die. It's just that you won't ever run out of money. And so it is a very conservative way of going through and estimating this stuff. So it kind of makes sense, but then I'm also so nervous to be like, oh yeah, no, you don't need to save more,
Yes.
save less.
Yes.
That's gonna be great for you.
And I'm the same way. And he talks about like, and it's very interesting because Matt's going to have a pension. And it's like there's this stat in there that like only 25% of people use up their pension. And he keeps saying in this book, like, if you die with more money, then you wasted time working. That's his whole thing. Like, if you die with a lot of money left, you spent years of your life working when you could have been doing something else. But the way I see it is I'm like, well, no, maybe if I die with more left, I died too young, or or like I'm leaving it to my kids, and like that's okay. Like it doesn't have to mean that I wasted years of my life, Bill. So I'm telling you, I have this very like where I liked it, but then I was like mad at him.
It definitely, like, if this information was being told to a room full of like high income earners, I think it makes a lot more sense in that context.
Yes.
Like you're in a room full of people making, 6 figures. They have secure jobs. They don't have a bunch of debt. They like, for them, they probably could cut it sooner and it'd be like, you're just working just because you feel like you need to, like you're stressed. When in reality, you could take a step back and enjoy your life a little bit more. So if you really target the audience, then I feel a lot more comfortable with talking about this in that way, because the case is, how often do you see the news stories or people in your family or friends who, like older parents, can't stop working because they don't have enough money, or they retire and they got to go back and get another job working at Walmart or something just to kind of get a little extra income in. Like, so it feels like a great message for the right crowd.
For the right people. Yeah. And he acknowledges his privilege in the sense of like his income was good, and like, and he talks about like when to take risks and how like you can be more risky when you're younger and like yada yada. But it really stretched my mind. It really stretched my thinking. I tend to like agree with a lot of things that I read, or I'm like, oh yeah, that's a good point. And in this book, I was like, well, I don't know. But I like that I could read it and like consider it and mull it over and have conversations with Matt about it, because we were reading it very simultaneously. We were listening to the audiobook, and we even listened to a good portion of it in the car when we were driving on spring break. But it's definitely a message. It's definitely a privileged message. And it stretched my thinking. I don't think I could apply all of it to my life that he's basically saying, because it would lead to like financial anxiety for me. But I do feel like one small aspect that we're applying to our life is Matt leaving this job and taking a pay cut. And it's like, okay, we're going to like, he's able to do that because we've set ourselves up for a position where we just have our mortgage and we are living below our means. We didn't let lifestyle creep, get in the way of our life too much. That way he can trade that time for money. So.
Yeah, I think what's good about books like this is that it just makes you think a little bit more. Maybe force you to think a little bit differently. Even if it doesn't apply to you, you still can be like, you know what? There's parts of this that made me challenge the way I thought about things, and I maybe need to just reevaluate that, or just kind of just think about that a little bit more to see if this is truly where I stand on this, or this is how I really want to approach this.
And I also think that it's good because, like, I also think that things I used to believe 5-6 years ago, like, I've changed the way that I see things, and I think that we can evolve and change our opinions as we learn more and as we listen to different opposing views, and as our personal experiences change. Like, I'm in a completely different experience with my money than I was 8 years ago. So my thoughts about different things are going to be different, and that's okay. I have the right to pivot and change, and so does everyone else. So, I don't know. It was an interesting book, and I wanted to talk to you about it because I was like, oh, I know Chris would not like it. So I wanted to hear what your thoughts were. I know you would have the same thing, like concerns I had. Whereas Matt is like, oh, it's fine. We can save less. And I'm like, shut up.
You're going to put that money in that account like I told you to?
Well, the good news is actually, like, I mean, other than his pension, he doesn't really invest much. It's me. And so I'm like, you don't get a say. I'm going to decide how much is taken out of my paycheck. And then I'm going to decide how much my business puts into my solo 401k. And then it's like, you just worry your little face about something else.
I mean, pensions do change things. Like I come from a family who worked in government, and that my parents, I'm very fortunate. I don't have to stress about them because they come from jobs that they got pensions.
Both of them.
So I don't have to be like, oh no,
yeah.
I'm gonna have to like step in and help them at some point.
Does.
It changes a lot.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, we estimate that in 12 years, Matt will be able to receive his full pension. And so he'll probably, we estimate, and I mean, I'm guessing this is like before taxes and everything too, like $40,000 a year.
Which is, I mean, considering the fact that it's just $40,000 that you don't have to go to work for anymore, it's big.
Yeah, and for the rest of your life. It does drop down. Like if he dies, I get less. So he could work longer. And then when he dies, I get like the same amount. You know what I mean? Like,
okay, yeah.
So let's say instead of, $40,000, if he dies, I only get 20. I don't know. I'm just making that up. But he could work longer to like earn me up. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah.
But it just feels like now it's like, okay, how do we supplement that? And so it does take edge off. It really does.
Yeah. I mean, this book is interesting. It's going to make me think for a little bit on this.
Yeah.
Thinking about
you don't have to read it. He's going to tell a lot of good stories in it.
I'm probably not gonna read it. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Okay, you can read the Cliff Notes.
I'm gonna be reading Money Made Easy, so my reading time's gonna be taken up. So
that's right.
Just saying.
So anyway, I wanted to talk about that.
No, that was a surprise discussion, but I like that. That really, like our call that we had on the previous episode. It just made me think. It's making me think, and I like that. I like thinking.
Okay, but I want to ask you.
Okay.
I want to ask you. At what like how do you feel like you're doing with balancing saving and spending?
Ooh.
And like spending on things that like bring you joy?
That's a really good question. Because I feel like I'm an open person, but I don't volunteer a lot of information. I'm not an open book. I'm a book that you can open it if you ask permission, but I'm not like an open book. It's not just there. Here's everything about me.
I just asked for permission. Is it granted?
I know. I'm going to grant it.
Okay. Only for Patreon, right?
Only for Patreon.
Yeah.
I would say that like I for sure took a pay cut when I decided to work for myself. Like I think a lot of people are like, oh yeah, you can work for yourself. You're going to be so much like I make less than I did when I had my day job, for 100% sure of that.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to like decide how
Hold on. When you say you make less, that means like after your business expenses,
like what actually get as income to myself.
What you're paying yourself is less.
Is less than what I was making before.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I wanted to clarify that.
Okay, yeah. And so back then, I think when I was working my job, I was definitely in a position where I was coming off of having a bunch of debt.
You were hoarding money.
I was just like, I just got to save. I was so nervous because I was like, I got to make up for lost time. Because like full transparency, I didn't really invest until probably my late, I don't even know it was maybe my early 30s. Like, I don't think I was like putting money into a retirement account until probably 29, 30-ish, somewhere in there. And so I felt like, you just feel behind. And that's not like, I think
everyone feels behind no matter what age they're at.
No matter,
if you started investing at 21, you should have started at 19. Like, I think everyone feels behind where they are.
Even us, we talk about this stuff all the time. We still have those same emotions. And I'm starting to slowly force myself to be like, look, you have to find some type of enjoyment. You don't got to like blow all your money, but you got to find some balance. So I've been trying to do that a little bit more, where it's like, you know what? I'm going to go to a basketball game. I'm not going to pay $1,000 for tickets, but I'll go to a basketball game with a reasonably priced ticket. Or you know what? I'm going to go on a short trip. It's not like, something reasonable, but I'm finding ways to make sure I can enjoy life a little bit within the boundaries I feel comfortable with at this point.
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. Let me say, I have known you. How long have we known? 18, 19, 20, 5 years? This is big for you.
It is.
Especially when it comes to spending money on things that are not technology related.
Now, I feel really sad. I haven't not bought a piece of tech in a while. It's been a long time.
You have it all. You don't need to buy
Here's my latest piece of tech. Oh, these little mini microphones. This is my latest thing. My latest gadget.
Okay. Anyway, I will say,
like I had to make sure I showed you some tech in an episode. It's been too long.
But no, I will say that like it is interesting because I have known you for so long and I've seen that like hoarding money. What you guys don't know is Chris and I will like open up our budgets and we'll like talk to each other like about like our very personal finances.
I mean, and it's not hoarding. I mean, it's not that extreme. I'm not like eating rice and beans and then every other dollar I have goes into like an investment account. I'm not that diligent in that.
No, you were. I thought you were like really oversaving in the past. But I mean, like that, and that was really like a reaction. Like we all make decisions based off of reactions and feelings, and that was a reactionary thing. And that's exactly like what I struggled with this book was being like, you're telling me to save less, like I feel behind, or what if this business fails? And it's like it all comes from this fear. And so he's asking you to not give into your fear, but then I'm like, but I'm scared.
What's the thing? You can still be legitimately behind. Like just because in the book this person's like, you know, you think you're behind, but you're not. And be like, but am I though? Like, does he have like a worksheet or something? I can be like, I can make sure I'm not actually behind.
He gives calculations and stuff, like he does. But he also talks about like how much he gives statistics and calculations about how like you think you're going to spend a lot more in your old age than you really will. He talks about how like right when you retire, you spend a lot. He calls it something, I don't remember, but let's just call it like honeymoon period, you know, like you are excited and you go on all these trips and then you slow down and your spending kind of does like this bell curve and it really slows down, and even your medical expenses are less than what you think they are because you're not spending money in all these other ways. You're not traveling, you don't have the ability to, your health, you don't want to be away from home, all these things. And so he talks about how we don't actually need as much money as we think we need because your spending decreases with age.
That is a good point. I mean, that is true, but in some cases your spending goes up because all of a sudden your healthcare expenses skyrocket.
He addresses that.
Oh, does he? I'm not going to question this man's book because I don't know if I haven't read it. I'm sure it's very detailed and covers all these topics, but these are just the thoughts that just shot into my mind as you're talking about it.
Well, but one of the things that he does is he promotes annuities. So I was
well, never mind. You know what? Scratch this whole book. All right.
He does, but he basically says any fear you have, there's an insurance for that. So he talks about if that's your fear, your healthcare fear, you can get long-term long-term care insurance. And if you buy it if you sign up before 65, it's really affordable. So he talks about like how to deal with those fears. But then he does talk about annuities. I was like, Bill, shut up.
He's not from the insurance industry, is he?
No.
No? Okay. Yeah, I won't pass any judgments. I'll maybe at some point read the book, but I'm not gonna like just hate on it because I haven't actually read it, so I don't know what's in there.
No, but it was funny.
But yeah, that's interesting. That is interesting. It's a good thought experiment here.
Yeah. So anyway.
All right. So I guess this will be, you know what? Because of the schedule on our calendar, what we're recording right now, you're all hearing this on, I think it is the second Wednesday. No, wait, hold on. Let me get this right here. This will be April 12th, the episode you're hearing now. But we have one more thing I want to talk about. We had this not what I'm loving, an Am I the Awkward one that I wanted to cover that I've kind of been holding on to.
Okay, let's do it.
So let's just do it. And if anything, this may pop up earlier in your feed as we cut all this stuff up. But this is the one I have for you here, Allison. So here we go. Bam. Hold on. Welcome to another episode. This is Am I the Awkward One? I think we're on episode 5 or 6 of Am I the Awkward One at this point.
I have no idea.
And this is the one I've been holding on to. I just came across this one, actually. I was like, I got to talk to you about this one. I want to get your thoughts.
Okay.
So first I want to kick off with, I know you were a goth kid. I know you were a soccer kid. You had a lot of identities growing up. But were you ever bullied by anyone?
No.
No, you don't seem like you're too joyful to have been bullied.
I was like the person. I was like a chameleon. I could fit in with lots of groups because I was just always smiling. And also remember that like I smile when I'm nervous.
You do.
So anytime like someone was mean to me, I would just smile. I would be like it confused people.
It's hard to bully somebody smiling at you.
It really is. Yeah. So no,
Okay.
I was never really, no, not in like the true sense of the word. Did people make fun of me like everyone does to kids? Yeah. But like in terms of bullied, I was never bullied.
Okay. All right. That's good. I'm happy you didn't experience that. I
Did you?
was bullied in elementary school. So I did
Who do I need
experience
to
that.
fight?
Oh, these horrible kids. I won't go into the full details of it, but yeah, I know the experience of being bullied and
What did
picked
they
on a
do
little
to
bit.
you?
It's just like, well, I don't want to dig into it, but I'll just say the quick
You don't want
summary.
to cry on
I
the
want to
air.
cry on camera, but the quick summary is, so I had a basically.
Was it about your glasses?
No, that's easy. Everyone gets that, the 4 eyes joke.
Okay.
When I was really young, I had a basically I went through chemotherapy as a little kid, as a little tiny kid, because I had a
what?
tumor when I was really young. You didn't know about this?
What?
Yeah. So I was a little tiny kid, like 3 years old. I went through chemotherapy. The little tiny Chris, bald,
come back?
bald then because I was through chemo you lose all your hair, and didn't know I'd be doing the sequel 20 years later. And
Gosh.
yeah, so I was a little kid, a little sick kid, and so all through all of elementary
Are
school.
you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm stable now.
What type
I'm
of
fine.
cancer was it?
I didn't have. I had a tumor. It was a benign tumor. So I did not have cancer. I did not. But it was. Yeah, I went through the process because they're trying to shrink the tumor. And I remember going all of elementary school. I was like doctor's appointments, MRIs, procedures, all this stuff growing up. And so when I couldn't be active, I couldn't play sports because it was too dangerous. But then also I would like get made fun of because I would have like different things going on that had to do with my health procedures I had going on. And so I remember getting bullied for that. And horrible
Jerks.
kids are the most horrible people. Logan said, "Man, I apologize already."
Logan just said, "Man, I apologize for this already, Chris." Which
I want
he's
another
joking.
apology. No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't him. But anyways, this story that I found here for
Wait a
Am I the
minute.
Awkward One?
Why would they bully a sick kid?
Because kids are cruel. That's why, Allison. Kids are horrible people.
Did the teachers do anything?
No, I didn't tell the teachers. You just suffer in silence. That's what you do when you get bullied. You
Did
just
you tell your parents?
no. You just
My
deal with
kid's
it.
Getting bullied and I don't know.
Oh yeah, because you don't want to be a snitch, right? Because if they find out, you're gonna get bullied more.
Yeah, snitches get stitches.
Exactly. But then I got
Wait a
really
minute.
tall. I got big, so the bullying stopped. So after a while,
Wait
I
a
got like so
minute.
much
So,
taller
like,
than everybody.
how do I uncover this with my own children to find out?
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, Scroggy Mom was like, "Yeah, you were a teacher.
I
You know how mean
know.
kids can be. Don't
I
act
know,
surprised.
But
you see that
also
nonsense
know
in the
Scroggy
classroom."
Scroggy Mama, kids are mean, but like they hide it from teachers because I bet your teachers never heard them do that. They
Probably
did
not.
it
No,
when
because it wasn't in the
teachers-
class when it would happen.
Yeah,
They would do a
it's not
mixture
going to be in
somewhere
a
else.
classroom. It's going to be on the bus. It's going to be at recess. It's going to be like in the hallway under breath. So like even as a teacher, you don't hear all of it.
No, Scroggy Mama Allison's over trying to act innocent. She knows how kids are. Psh, get out of here.
I hope my kids aren't being bullied.
I hope not either.
Okay,
But
you're
anyways,
being bullied.
so I was being bullied. So this story hit home on multiple levels. So, and I'm fine now. Like as an adult, I've worked through those things, and I feel much better about all that now. Like it was definitely hard as a younger kid.
Do you know the names of your bullies?
Oh yeah, I know who they are.
If you saw them, would you avoid them or would you talk to them?
I wouldn't initiate a conversation, but at this point, I think I'm past it enough that I wouldn't be like, you know what you did to me? Go up in their face. You know what you did 25 years ago. No, all right. So, but I wouldn't be like, oh hey, you want to go grab some coffee? Like, no, I don't need to do that.
You
but
should
I also,
thrive.
in spite of them.
Yes. Okay, sorry.
All right, so here's the story, and it is. I'm not even gonna read the title. I'm just gonna hop into the story. All right.
Okay.
So apparently, my former classmate, I wonder if this is his real name. Can I say it on there? I'll just say it. My former
say
classmate,
it.
Brad, 26-year-old male,
Glad.
has been diagnosed with a rare form of non-Hodgkin lymphoma, and his family is raising $50,000 for a GoFundMe to help cover the cost of his treatment. Brad used to treat me like crap in high school. He was constantly making fun of my weight, calling me offensive nicknames. I can't say I felt good when I learned of his diagnosis, but I didn't shed any tears either. A few days ago, this girl, Anna, added all of our former classmates to a messenger chat group. She sent us a GoFundMe link and asked us to donate whatever we could, even if it was just a small amount. She also said to send a thumbs up after we have donated. Pretty much all.
No.
Pretty
No, you
much,
don't.
pretty much all of the people in the group donated except for me. Anna noticed this and tagged me, asking me if I saw her message. That's when I wrote that I don't plan to donate I don't plan to donate because of the way Brad treated me in high school. Anna and a few other guys said that I was acting like a a-hole, that we are grown-ups now and this stuff is in the past. I left the group because I didn't want to argue with these people. None of them stood up for me when Brad was bullying me, and most of them laughed at his dumb jokes. So am I wrong?
Okay. No, you're not wrong. Here's what I have to say. Number one, someone's medical bills are not your responsibility.
Exactly. They're not.
Like right there. That is someone's responsibility. There is like there are ways to pay for this. There are programs and all of these things. So Beth Ann said I would have donated 50 cents. I love it. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Look
man.
at this. I approve of this person's actions. Listen, I say no. Number one, I find it a little bit creepy that I guess they're only 26, but I'm like, I don't want to be added to a messenger group with a whole bunch of people from high school.
Yeah, for one,
no.
I've left this place.
I don't want to be added to group messenger groups, period. Like,
no.
I'm in one right now and I muted it. I don't even respond.
I don't even know if someone puts me in a Facebook Messenger group chat because I do not open Facebook.
Yeah, exactly. Scroggy Mama, y'all are my people. Karma is a witch with a side of B.
I've never heard that before. I've never heard that before.
Chris.
Oh,
I don't think that. No, I don't think so. But I think that's like, okay, number one, the person that called out, who was it? Anna?
Yeah, Anna.
Anna called her out. Number one, Anna, you got way too much time on your hands. Like,
exactly.
It's not your job to police who has and has not donated.
It's not a bill. It's not a light bill. Like, hey, if you notice your bill's unpaid, we're gonna shut off your internet or something.
You didn't all go share a hotel room and you need to split the cost evenly. Like, that's not what this is.
No.
So number one, there's that. Number two, I would have left the group.
Oh yeah, I think this person made the right decision. They got out of there and said, "See y'all. I don't got to deal with this."
I wouldn't have even responded. I don't think they should have even responded. Like, I think they made it awkward. I think the person who wrote in about this made it awkward because they responded and gave their reasoning. That was unnecessary. Like,
you don't need to justify yourself with this.
That justification made it awkward. That justification was completely unnecessary. They could have just completely left the group and be done with it, right? They didn't need to justify it and then like get other people involved and then them go tell Brad while he's on, getting whatever sickness or, like why. But did this hit home for you because you also bullied people?
No.
Before you were 3? Were you bullying 1-year-olds?
No, I was not bullying when you had preschool daycare beating up little kids. No, but I will say one thing I do know that when they say like bully people, bully other people, I did notice when I got older, I did start to do that in school, like trying to like compensate, right?
Hurt people.
Like trying to make jokes about other people because it took the attention off myself, and that was something else I had to learn about. But I'm with this person.
Call you out on it?
I called myself out on it, and I was like, "This is not the life to be living here." But wow. I'm with this person. Brad would not get a penny from me. He would not get
here's another
anything.
question. Here's a morbid question. I'm going to go there because this is Patreon. No. What if Brad died and it was a GoFundMe for his funeral?
I'm really not giving it then. I mean, I think it's more important to donate to try to save his life. If he's already gone, hey, that's sad.
Put that on a credit card. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, wow. Scruggy Mama said I might give for that.
You might give for that. Not Chris, though.
Oh.
I don't know if I've ever donated. There's one time I donated after someone passed away. It was the one time I donated for someone I did not know. But yeah, it was like someone I knew through social media. He was like an influencer person, and he was all about like kids and like screens and taking screens away from kids and all these things. And I had actually followed him, and then he died, and it came out that like his wife, and he had like 5 kids, they had no life insurance policy at all. And so I did donate like $10 or something, Venmo, but I don't know if I would have donated to that, but I also don't talk to anyone. I've never been to my high school reunion. I don't
No,
talk
me
to
either.
I don't like I literally like I don't think I talk to anyone from high school anymore.
No, I have friends who were my neighbors who I'm still friends with, like Logan, but we didn't go to school together. So I'm still friends with those people, but I'm not friends with anyone I went to school with. I think there may be one person I may talk to like once every couple of years. I might hear from them, but no, I put that in the past.
I cut ties with people because of an incident.
Hold up. Why you always have a story, Allison? Okay.
It's not that good.
It's not okay.
So there was an incident. So in high school, I was not popular. I was not like a loser. I just kind of like Scroggy Mama, what was the incident?
Yeah, we got to know. You try to act like, oh no, so
I was not like really popular. I was not a loser. I very much just like kind of fit in. Like I was in National Honor Society. I'm talking like post, like I got out of my goth phase. I stopped taking the academic classes where people were like had like sharpening their knives in class, and I got into like decent honors pre-AP classes, right?
Okay.
So, I didn't like go to parties and stuff. Like I didn't go to the parties. I didn't drink in high school. Like I think there was like maybe one time. Like I wasn't like in that crowd, but I knew that crowd and I was nice to that crowd. And they were nice to me but I didn't like hang out with them. So I did have this group of friends, especially my senior year of high school. It was like 5 of us girls or 6 girls or something. And we enjoyed hanging out together, and we would get together and we'd like go into downtown Houston and like go to a fun restaurant. That was like our way of like, doing something
in
fun.
high school.
In high school, yeah, like a senior year of high school.
You guys were doing real stuff. Me and my friends, we were going to like hometown buffet.
No, we would like drive into downtown Houston and find like a 24-hour like diner, like a fun, like kind of eclectic place. Like that was our thing. We would do things like that instead of like going out to the pasture parties that were happening out. And like
it must be a Texas thing, because I mean I wasn't cool, so maybe we were having pasture parties out here. I didn't know about that.
Well, it's a wide space country thing. I don't think it's designated to Texas. I think it's designated to areas that have land.
Yeah, we don't have pastures in Southern California.
Okay. Anyway, so I was good friends with these girls. Well, we all like kind of split up and went to different colleges. Only me and another girl went to the same college. One person moved, went to an Ivy League school. We all kind of split up, but we were still friends. And so our first in my freshman year of college, I was dating someone very seriously. I think I've talked about him. I've told an awkward story about him before.
This is the guy you guys saw at the birthing class, right?
Yes, at the birthing class, yes. And he was in town. So it was the summer after freshman year. We all moved back home because that's what you did. And he was in town. He came to like visit me for a weekend. And that weekend, all of the girls wanted to do something together. Like we were all going to go out to like Olive Garden or something. I don't know. And I said, I'm not going to be able to hang out with y'all because my boyfriend's coming in town. I'm going to be spending time with them.
Oh, you turned your back on them.
That is how they saw it. So like a month later, no, not even a month later, because it's in the summer.
You couldn't have one meal with them? You could have one round of unlimited breadsticks with them? Wow.
Unlimited bread. So I mean, he was visiting us for like 3 days, and so I spent my time with him. Like I mean, no,
as a 20-year-old does.
Yeah, like I was 20 years old. Exactly. I was still 19. My boyfriend, who lived 6 hours away, was coming into town, and so I was like, I'll see y'all before, I'll see you after, but these 3 days I'm going to spend with
I got
him.
things to do.
Stop, Chris. Just stop. So they didn't say like, and this was like in a group text thread, right? So like 3 weeks later, we had all gone in and rented a beach house in Galveston, and we were going to do like a weekend away.
And you've never discussed what happened at this point? Like no conversation had happened?
We had already planned this.
Okay, prior to you missing the Olive Garden.
Prior to me missing this, We had all decided, let's get a beach house. Let's go in together. We'll pay like, whatever, $100, $200 each. We're going to have a girls' weekend at this beach house. We were all going, like 6 of us. They called me up on like a 3 or 4, like several of them called me up and uninvited me from this beach house trip.
Wow.
Because they felt like I like prioritized my boyfriend over them when he was in town. And so they completely uninvited me. I was devastated. These are people I was friends with for like 5 years. Like I was devastated, and they cut me out of the group.
They live by the motto, sisters over misters.
Yeah. Well, I was spending all of my time with them during the days. It was just these 3 days.
Okay. So how much time in total was it? So I assumed you were just back for like a few days and you spent all of that time with this guy.
All summer.
Oh, so this wasn't okay. I'm changing my opinion now. I thought it was like, wow, you only get to see your friends for a few days and you're gonna pass up on them.
May 15th to like August 1st, all summer.
That is extreme. That's a bit much right there.
And he came in like June, and we were gonna, like, he came in for like a weekend. Like he came in like you drove down 5 hours on a Thursday, was staying at my parents' house on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and driving back. And I said, I'm not going to see you guys while he's in town.
Did Olive Garden hold like some special meaning for all of you? Was it like a special place? Like you all had your first meal at Olive Garden together or something like that?
We would sometimes frequent Olive Garden. Yes.
Had you gone to Olive Garden at any other point during the summer with them? Or was this the only Olive Garden trip?
I don't remember. I honestly don't remember. Maybe not. I had spent time with them, but they called me and uninvited me, and they all went without me, and they cut me out of their friend group. I was, I cried. I was devastated. My mom was like, I just cried in my mom's arms that night. And so that weekend when they all went to that thing, I was like, what am I going to do? So I drove up to my boyfriend's house, which was like 6 hours away. And we went skydiving. So that's the first time I ever went skydiving.
You're like, what's the point? I'm just going to jump out this plane and whatever happens, happens.
But we went skydiving, and we did like all of these fun things because it was like a hard weekend. And since then, like I've had several of the girls have like messaged me on like Instagram, like, and be like, oh my gosh, I love what you're doing with your business. And I'm like, yeah, I bet you do. I bet you do love it. Now you love it. Now you want to be friends with me. So anyway, that was the incident.
How dare you tell us this was not going to be a good story? You don't get to be the judge of this. Every story you tell is a good story. I'm just happy nobody died in this, because normally you tell a story and then someone randomly dies at the end of it.
When was the last time I told a story?
That's what they call. Wasn't everyone in Patreon? Weren't you all calling her Dateline because your stories end with something tragic happening like almost every time?
That was just Scroggy Mama, and she's not to be trusted. Just kidding. I love you, Scroggy Mama.
Oh my, yeah, that's a bit dramatic. That is a bit dramatic for them to cut you off.
Cut me out. Scroggy Mama says, "Yep."
Yep.
Like,
Dateline.
Yeah, it was. I mean, cut me out. Completely cut me out.
And so that means basically it sounds like you never talked again. Like that was it until they started trying to hop in your DMs.
There was one of the girls. Okay, so one of the girls reached out to me after I had kids. So this happened in 2006. Okay, 2006. She reached out to me probably in like 2012. Wow. 2013.
She had let it marinate for 6 years.
We got together because like I was like I called them. I was like, what? Like I don't understand what I did wrong. Tell me what I did wrong. Like I'm sorry. I apologize. Like they would not have it.
That is cold-blooded. What was so special about Olive Garden? I mean, I think there's some other meaning to this. You're not letting us know about.
It wasn't that. It was they felt like I chose a boy over them. That's what it came down to.
Friends do that, especially when you're in your 20s. People get real jealous.
Understand. He's in town to say, what do you want me to do? Leave him with my leave him with my parents? Be like, sorry, I know you drove 6 hours to be here with me, but like, I need to go have dinner with my friends without you. They didn't want him to come.
So they didn't even okay. Yeah.
No.
Okay, I'm with you. That's a bit much.
So anyway, one of them we thought Chris loved Olive Garden.
Now we know why you don't like Olive Garden. Have you been to Olive Garden since then?
Yes, I have. It was a traumatic experience.
Okay, was it really? Would you when you walked into Olive Garden for the first time? You're like,
I don't know. I
You feel like
celebrated
the-
my 21st birthday at Olive Garden. That's where I had my first legal drink, a Bellini. A frozen Bellini, because it's basically a dessert with a tiny bit of alcohol. Olive Garden is triggering for Alice.
you know what? Next time I see you, we're going to Olive Garden. We're gonna go to Olive Garden.
Okay, you'll walk me through this experience.
I
You'll
will.
be
I was
there
like-
by my side.
I'll take you on the tour of Italy.
But no, what was I saying? Okay, so one of them reached out to me like in 2012, 2013. She came over to my house and she said like, "Oh, I want to see where you live. I want to meet your husband," because none of them were invited to my wedding.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Yeah. And I very much wanted it to be like, look at how amazing my life is, but I'm pretty sure it was like, I'm so overwhelmed with a child. Like, I'm sure it was that. So that was one of them. My mom and her mom are friends. Like, they're good
Ooh,
friends.
was that weird?
Sometimes, no, I don't think so. Like, they became close because they go to church together. And so, like, her parents and my parents will go to breakfast, like maybe
okay.
a couple of Sundays a month. And they don't always talk about us. Like, they're just friends. But I'll hear updates from my mom that gets them through her mom. But otherwise, I don't talk to her. Another one reached out to me on Instagram to ask me how I grew my business.
You just say,
And I don't think I ever
you
responded.
just send it to that
I
guy,
think
get
I did that
annuities.
now.
Oh wait, you froze a little bit there. Are you back?
Oh yeah, exactly. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm here. Two of them have never reached. Yeah, and then other than that, I don't really think many of them have reached out to me. I'm still friends on Facebook with most of them, but I'm not on Facebook a lot, like on my personal stuff. So, but yeah, it was hard.
Yeah, that especially at that age to lose like your friend group, that's messed up. Like, you got to at least get someone. Like,
Yeah.
Okay, wait, hold on, wait. Before I start hopping all the way to your side and sympathizing with you, was this your first strike, or had you had other things that led up to this? Had you been disappointing the friend group, and this was like the final straw? They're like, Allison, she's always standing us up, and now this is it. This is Olive Garden is our home. We're family here, and she chose not to
She's
come.
not part of the family. That's a good question, because like I see it from my side and I want to say no because I have memories with them. I have pictures with them. So if I have memories and pictures with you, like I spent time with you. Like in my senior year of high school, I wasn't like dating anyone. I wasn't like spending my time with other people. So to me, no, like I don't think so, but maybe they thought so. I don't know, because in my senior year of high school, I did not have like a serious boyfriend. Like I dated a guy, and then
This is the guy you trying to ditch, right? He would just be there all the time.
yes, David. That was
Wow,
David.
you didn't say his name.
David Martinez.
Oh, wow.
I mean, how many?
I
of
mean,
those
that's
are there?
yeah,
Come on.
that's a pretty
it's a
common name.
Mexican
Okay.
name, yeah. Especially where I live, where I grew up, where it's like 80% of the people were Hispanic. So yeah, I mean, I don't even know if that was his last name. Maybe I'm wrong. But anyway, yeah, I mean, like, I dated him and we broke up but went to prom together. It was miserable. That sounds
like a horrible idea.
Oh, it was awful. We got
I
in a
think
fight.
we talked about this, right? Didn't we? And then you like left him and went to like a party without him, right?
Yeah, and he called his mom crying and she came to pick him up. I was like, you're such a baby.
Oh, this sounds like karma. I think what happened was that all came back. You abused David, and it all came back around to your friend group. And they were like, you know what, Allison, we didn't
No,
think
that
about
was
it.
one loser who wanted me to stay and
Wow.
go to junior college, even though I had been accepted to a university an hour and a half away. And he wanted me to stay and live at home and to be with him. I was like, no, thank you. I'm not going to do that because you're a year younger than me. Robbing the cradle. But anyway, but I want you to consider this. Even if think about this. This is 6 friends. This isn't a breakup with one friend.
Those are all your friends, right?
Those were all of my close friends from high school.
Yeah,
Like
that's a hard
of
one.
my friends that I would have continued to talk to, it was all of them.
Wait, were these the people who were in those stock photos you were taking? Like, there was like you showed us
Oh,
those
those
pictures
are
where
my
you're like,
college friends.
okay,
That's Amanda and Jessica. They're amazing. They would never
Okay.
do that to me because they're good people.
yeah, they should. Yeah, I'll come back on your side now. Now I have more information.
Thank
Yeah,
you. Thanks, Chris.
I just want to make sure maybe you're not the horrible person in the situation.
I'm
You're
not
not the
the horrible
person. You're not the
person.
person at work talking about how they got to pay off their debt before they can be your friends again. I was just making
Oh,
sure.
no, that's on me.
Yeah,
So.
that is traumatic. Yeah, we got to go. Like Scroggy said, we got to go to Olive Garden, take back the power, and reclaim
I'm
that
kinda
place.
sad now after talking about that. I wasn't expecting to talk about that.
You know what? They were good friends, anyways.
Thank you. They weren't good friends.
Just abandon your friend like that.
No, they weren't good friends. I think one of them apologized once, but I was like, suck it. I don't know.
Oh man, you have a story for every situation. You do not disappoint. I appreciate it.
Really? I don't see that as a story. I see that as kind of pathetic. But that's how I went skydiving for the first time.
Boom.
As I dropped to the earth, just tears streaming down my face because my friends had abandoned me.
I imagine you just jumping out the plane with like 2 middle fingers, just like trying to point it at their house, like the direction of where they live.
Oh, I was so upset. I'm so thankful that like social media wasn't big then.
Oh
Because
no.
they did post some photos on Facebook, but you know, it was Beth Ann. That story took a dark turn.
Every time, Beth Ann, every time.
That's the goth in me coming out. But no, I mean it's like I'm honestly so happy that social media wasn't like a massive influence then. And people weren't like posting a lot, because I remember seeing pictures that they had like uploaded days later because you couldn't do it from, you know.
You can do it from your phone.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't take your SD card out of your digital camera.
Exactly. And I remember being upset, like seeing them on the beach at this beach house. And I remember it upsetting me, but I made the best of it. And then I uploaded my own album, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm so happy we grew up like right at the very start of social media, because we had to deal with all this.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I feel so sorry for my kids. I feel sorry for every kid that has to deal with social media.
Yeah, no, it's yeah, I would not want to have that going on.
Yes, it's exactly what I did.
This is you fall jumping. This is actual gift from Allison jumping out
Yes,
the plane
that's me. That's
in a
me.
blazer.
In a blazer.
Yeah, whatever that is, whatever shirt she has on
You
there.
know that we've all been saying her name wrong. It's not Alicia Silverstone.
What is it, Alicia?
It's Alicia, but she never told anyone.
She didn't. What is this? I've never seen this video. I don't even know what this
I don't know.
is.
It's from Aerosmith video.
Only thing I know her from is Clueless, really, which is a very disturbing movie when you watch it as an adult.
I don't want to watch it as an adult. I want
Don't.
to live in the like mindset of everything was okay. But
Yeah,
no,
just-
I'm sure it's terrible.
It ends with her
It's
getting
not
with her
aged well.
stepbrother. Like that's the
Yeah.
happy ending of the
Yeah,
movie.
that, and I'm sure there's just a lot of, I mean, just like the privilege behind it, and just I'm sure there's like racism in there too. Like
I'm trying to remember if there was. I watched it not that long ago, and I don't really remember.
Yeah,
The only thing I can think about is, how did I not realize for all these years that the happy ending is her getting with her stepbrother, and everyone's being
realized
okay?
that.
Everyone's happy
I
about this.
realized that and thinking it was gross. I remember that.
R.I.P. Brittany Murphy. She was the best person in that movie, best character in that movie.
Oh yes. So. Okay, well, it's
right.
getting late. We
Yeah.
need to wrap this up, Chris.
Oh, it is. It's almost 11 o'clock on the East Coast. Yeah.
Oh,
we
I was like, it's not 11 o'clock.
for you. We don't care about Central Time. We're thinking about Scroggy. She's up there. She has to go. She has to get some rest.
Thanks for staying up with us. I hope it was enjoyable. Let's talk about the next time we're recording. We are going to record again on April 6th.
That's right. So we're recording on April 6th. We're going to, I think what I'm going to do is, because we have an extra Wednesday this month. So I think we have a Patreon episode going out tomorrow. I think I'm going to pull this last part that we just recorded right now, and that'll be the Patreon episode for the 29th, and then the main part will go out on the 12th for that.
Perfect.
So we got stuff. We got you all covered every week. We didn't want to leave you hanging with a blank week in there.
Yeah, we hate it whenever there's that extra week and we're like, but our Patreon members.
We just left it with nothing. All right, so
Oh, goodness.
let's get out of
Okay.
here. Thanks everyone for joining us. This was
Bye,
fun.
everyone.
All
Y'all have
right.
a great day.
I forgot I have to actually end it, don't I? I'm the one
I
in
have
control
to.
of
What
that.
happened to my quick time? What do I do now? How do I get out of